just so real. Already know exactly how you feel. See the head, not like seeing a steeple. You damn well know they're one of the people. Nobody breaks us, 'cause nobody made us, and no one can take this 'cause we got their fix. We are the people, we are the people, we are the people. Don't mess with this.
Morning.
What is going on, everybody? It is Patrick and the people. Got Rich in the house. Rich Rockwell, what up?
Rich one full.
One full.
Paul,
You got the Bundy in here, Dustyn Bundrick. What's up, man?
how are you doing? Good morning.
Man, I'm good. Hadn't seen you in a minute. How you been?
Good, brother. We went on vacation last week and getting back to work. You know, work's always crazy when you go on a weekend.
Oh no, it's yeah. Coming back from that is very daunting. But you said you went to Galveston.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Galveston. We love Galveston, man. It's
Yeah.
It's underrated for the place. Everything's super cheap. It's a 8-hour drive. I think we paid $5 for parking all day.
Oh wow, that is
yeah,
cheap.
yeah.
So y'all just hung out on the beach.
Yeah, man. We went
Was
down
it-
there. I know I'm getting old because it's like I have to go out of town to do nothing. Like,
Right.
If I stay at home, I'll end up
You'll do
getting
something.
into some shit.
No,
So
you're
it's
right.
like,
You're right.
if I go down there, I have no choice but to just
Do nothing,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So was it
was
busy?
nice.
Was the beach crowded? Was it busy?
No, not at all. I didn't actually run into anybody that wasn't a resident of Galveston, Texas. Down
Yeah.
there. I'm sure there were, but I didn't personally talk
What do
to
you say? It takes about 8 hours to get there, right?
Yeah, right on the dot at 8 hours. If you don't stop at the Buc-ee's.
Right.
So,
All right.
it
Yeah,
took
because
about
Buc-ee's takes a
8.5,
while.
Yeah.
Apparently, Buc-ee's is a thing that when people stop there, they're going to look for a little bit.
Yeah.
They just had their groundbreaking thing.
Oh,
here
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
here in
day.
Arkansas.
Oh, and Benton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did they finally break ground on
Yeah,
it? Oh, well,
yeah.
there you go. How long will it take? 2 years to build it?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll take a minute. I mean,
Well, I'm guessing. I mean, it's going to take a while. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big place, right?
yeah, no, you'd think at least a year and a half at the very least.
I would think so. What about what'd you do yesterday, Rich? Go home and rest after all your
Yeah, man. I went
You're
home. I
cramping?
got on the heating pad and turned on some TV
soft
drama
jazz.
shows or something.
Oh,
Yeah. Had a
you
glass of wine.
And watch a little Murphy Brown or
Yeah, something. Yeah. I think I first sat down in this chair this morning and immediately I was like, oh, I think I have like PTSD or something.
So did you, for real, were there any, residual effects as far as, was
Oh,
it
my
still
back
sore?
hurt.
Your back hurt?
Yeah, dude, my
from being
lower
tensed up?
back and just all around. Yeah, that just your torso area, whatever, man. I don't
I
know.
mean,
if
was it just from
traumatic or
being
not, but
tensed up or?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think a mix of tense and the shocking, obviously.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
Having this electronic
So,
device.
out of all the different pains you've experienced in your life, when
know-
she hit you on level 8,
After
It didn't look fun.
because I was sitting there, I was laying down in bed last night, and as my brain loves to do, think of random stuff, and I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, number one, I think we need to have a woman do that, just to see, compare it
Oh,
relatively,
see.
from the fact of how it
Right.
actually
Right,
feels,
see how
number
accurate
one.
it is?
yeah, see what they think.
And number two, I went through all that all day yesterday during the show.
Yes.
I still wouldn't want to ever be kicked in the balls. Like, being kicked in the balls hurts
It's still
more to me
worse.
than that.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point. And yes, I get that. I sure do get that.
Good morning, everybody in the comments. How
What
y'all doing?
is
I still
going
hate
on,
you,
everybody?
but,
What's
you know,
going on? Oh, we need
we're
to
getting
fix
back
that.
to it.
We need to.
You got Latasha
Hold
saying
on.
good morning, little doggy.
Y'all just keep talking.
Yeah.
All right.
Latasha says good morning, little doggy says Mr. Rockwell. Good morning. Good morning, buddy. Good morning, Brad. Brad says he's ready for another great episode.
Man, that episode with Tasha Mack, that was cool the other day. It was cool having yeah, man.
Yeah,
She's
it was
always up
great.
in the
She
comments
was-
saying what's up.
Yeah,
so
man.
It's cool to get her in here.
That's what I was trying to say yesterday, was that, I thought we were cool, we all liked her, and
Yeah.
we had her in studio, and then she's like, turn it up more!
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great great having Tasha, and she's so much fun.
Yeah.
And I hope she brings Tom with her next time. I really want to meet him.
Jay,
Is that her?
That's our guy. Yeah,
I got you.
man.
Cool.
I hear he's very good people, and I
Jay
want to meet him.
Stang 08 says, "Good morning, everybody. Been wondering what happened with Joe Exotic."
Oh, well, let me tell you what happened with Joe. I mentioned it once before. We did several interviews with Joe, and, we continued to talk with his management. Well, I don't remember what happened. He got in some kind of trouble or whatever briefly, but, we circled. Well, then all of a sudden Trump got elected, and he was really pushing the pardon.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden he was on some bigger networks for just a minute.
Right.
Well, we had reached back out to him, said, "Hey, see that you're back, da-da-da." And he said, or his people said, "Yeah, no, we'd love to schedule him. It's $200 an interview." And I was like, "What?" No, you're in prison and you want to get your message out. And
Right, and I'm helping you do that.
$200. No, I'm not paying that to you. And in all fairness, I was really trying to help as much as we could.
Right.
And I like Joe. I
obviously
like
you were.
Joe. I mean, I enjoy talking to him.
No, they
But
were good interviews.
They're good interviews, but our budget just doesn't allow $200 a pop.
Like, hey, Joe, we're doing the best we can out here too, brother.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
We're in our own prison. Okay?
I tell you what, for an interview, we'll give you 3 honey buns and a pack of smokes.
Yeah, how about that? How about we mail you some goodies,
Yeah,
a
there
little
you
care
go.
package or something? But
Man, you're a big spender.
right,
You said 3 honey buns and a pack of smokes?
right. That's
I've
good.
announced for shows where all I've gotten is a hot dog and a handshake.
Oh, I don't like that when that happens.
My favorite clip of Joe Exotic is him saying, "I'm never going to financially recover from this." So that's my favorite clip out of Tiger King.
That one is great. I do like the one where what's the one where the tiger grabs him and starts dragging him away?
Yeah, he starts just
That's
beating
pretty
the hell out
funny.
of him with his cane.
Yeah, that one, and then the one where he's on a campaign thing and he goes, "No, I'm the gayest person you'll ever meet," or something like that. And I was like, "That's great, man."
Dude, you have to give it to him. One of the biggest power moves of all time is when his worker got her arm bitten off and he goes and throws on his leather paramedics vest.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I've got the perfect jacket for this situation.
Yes.
I'll be right back."
Yeah, be right
like,
back.
Give me just a
I
second.
know you're bleeding out, but let me get this wardrobe on.
Oh, my God.
I do want to mention to everybody that the Looney Bin, I'll be performing there May 21st through 25th. I'm going to host that week. They've asked me to do that, so I'm very, very excited to
dude,
do that.
that's
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we go to The Blocks. That is a reality competition show. May 13th through 19th, we'll be in Tulsa for a week shooting an entrepreneur-based reality show that we got invited to based around this show and, how to make this thing, to the next level. So we're super, super stoked about that.
It's going to be fun, dude.
And we do have a GoFundMe. You can take a look at that. Big thanks to everybody who helped yesterday. Let me just give a particular shout out, though, to David Lindsay over at Cabot Mechanical because, man, he reached out to us offline after the show and said, "Hey, man, let me see if I can help you out." And he threw some money in the bucket, and we couldn't be more thankful for him doing that. As a matter of fact, let me give you some information for him because if you do need HVAC help, David's about as honest as you can get. He is just a good person. It's Cabot Mechanical. You can go to cabotmechanical.com or you can call David at 944-5776. It's 944-5776. If you've got an air conditioning or heat problem, he's the guy to solve it. And I'll tell you my brief story about him. When we bought a house in North Little Rock a few years ago, honestly, the seller lied. They said they replaced the air conditioner. Well, what they meant to say, no, it's not what they meant to say, but what they should have said is we replaced the outside unit, not the inside.
Yeah.
And that you did not replace the air conditioning if you just replaced the outside unit. So about 6 months after we moved there, we had a big problem, and it wasn't working.
Uh-oh.
And they had a guy come in and say, "Yeah, you're going to need a new system. It's going to be about $8,000-$9,000." And I was like, "Man." So I called somebody else. and it was David Lindsay.
Let's get a second opinion.
And he said, no, man, we can get this going for about $200. He said, you're just fine. And he saved my ass there. And so I've always had a special place for David.
I'm sure.
Because he saved me about $8,000. So, you know what I'm saying?
Usually when you compare, it's like, oh, you might find somebody $1,000 cheaper or $1,000 higher. And it's like, yeah, we got you for minus 1,000% on that.
You're right.
That
No, it was great. It was great. So anyway, big thanks to him for helping out and everybody else who is. Listen, if you can give $1, you can give $5, you can give $10, doesn't matter. It's just helping us with our hotel travel and, lodging and expenses, I guess, however you want to phrase it. And we're very thankful for it. This is going to be on Amazon Prime. And I guess, I don't know why I was thinking there were 7 seasons. Season 14 just aired. So this is not a Johnny-come-lately show. It's
been around for a minute. Yeah.
And it's hosted by Wes and created by Wes from The Challenge. And if you are a reality TV person, you probably know who that is. From whether he was in Traders or whatever, he's been in a million things now, and he's always cocky and arrogant and a lot of fun. So he's
one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, no, he's a character
reality
for sure.
TV.
All right, let's get to some news you can use.
What you got?
As tariffs are a huge political topic, 2 huge China e-commerce sites are reacting. Temu and Shein have said they plan to raise prices starting next week. It's a direct response to the tariffs, of course. Both companies said they'd be making price adjustments. So now you can, buy yourself, instead of paying $5 for, a ton of rubber bands, you can pay $6.50 for it.
Yeah.
Because you can buy stuff over at Temu pretty damn cheap.
Yeah, I haven't ordered. I know my wife has, but I haven't myself ordered a whole lot off there.
Yeah, I've ordered quite a bit off of it, and actually, surprisingly, most everything I've ordered has been good.
Yeah, and what's the shipping like? That's always my thing.
It just takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, now they have some distribution hubs here in the U.S., so it's not as long. But it sometimes it's a little longer than that. It might take a couple weeks, 10 days.
Yeah, I've always got to on something like that. I like pick and choose what I want to wait on and what I need. Like Jeff Bezos to bring me tomorrow.
Right. No, well, with Amazon, sometimes you can even get same day now.
Oh yeah,
because we have big hubs here in Arkansas. But I have ordered many times through Temu, and I can tell you, I've never had a bad order. I've never had something not show up. I mean, it seems to legitimately be, and I got a pair of shoes that I bought for like, I don't know, $16-17 that
hell yeah.
I bought a second pair because the first one lasted a year and they were really nice looking. Look, if you can get a year for $16 out of shoes and they look good, that's a good deal.
Hell yeah.
So, and I belts.
Yeah. Is that mostly what you're getting off there, like clothes?
Yeah,
or shoes or stuff.
I've ordered some novelty items, but mostly that kind of stuff.
I got you.
I haven't decided to bite off on like some expensive electronics or anything yet.
Right.
I get a little anxious about that.
Yeah.
You said what days you're going to be at the Looney Bin?
The 21st through the 25th.
Dude, that's super
through the
exciting.
25th.
How does about that?
Yeah,
How
me
does
too.
like the 23rd work for everybody that's commenting right now? Just let me know.
You're trying to work out a group thing.
They all want to know. They're
That's
Can
great.
we all go together?
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm
I
like,
think
let's
we
figure
should.
out a
We
day.
should have
Hell
a
yeah, dude.
PATP takeover.
Hell yeah.
I see trashed people. 6 Cent star Haley Joel Osment arrested and booked for public intox, and he had cocaine as well.
I mean,
They sent it for testing. What else would be powder in a bag other than probably, you know what I mean? It ain't BC.
my soap for the laundromat.
Yeah, that's what he needed. So, surprise, Haley Joel Osment, a child actor, has problems. It happens a lot.
No.
Yeah, right.
Say.
You used to get in trouble if the teacher caught you taking a nap in high school. Now it's a class. A new course at Mansfield Senior High in Mansfield, Ohio is aiming to teach students how to get better quality sleep. Listen, how about you teach them how financing works. Everybody can teach them about buying a car or a house or a
There's one
credit
thing
card.
I had down pat that I didn't need to be taught about was sleep.
No, no, man, and especially as a senior. What are you talking about? I slept through half my classes as a senior.
That would have been the one class that I would have finally gotten an A+ in, though.
No doubt. You would have got that.
And I find it funny. I argue that they argue that like a midday nap is better for your sleep. Like I don't know if that's necessarily.
Let me tell you what I have learned, because nap was a 4-letter word for me for a long time. And if you get up at 4 long enough, you will succumb and take naps from time to time. I have learned, though, that if you take an hour nap or a 20-minute nap, 25 maybe, there's a huge difference. You take an hour nap, when you wake up, you're going to be groggy, and the rest of your day, you're never going to almost recover back to what you want to feel like. You're going to feel a little tired the rest of the day. If you go 20, 25 minutes, you'll feel great.
Right, just to doze off real quick.
Because you don't get into REM sleep.
Yeah, right.
And so
That's
you're
my
just
point.
looking for a general refresh. But if you take a long nap, it can tweak your day out. You know, it can mess it up a little bit for you. But, sometimes I got to. You know, and sometimes I just got to.
No, I feel you, man. We're right there getting up at 4:30 just about every morning.
Yeah, no, sometimes it'll catch up with you.
I'm giving everybody hell in the comments this morning because they're like, "Good morning, friends," and I'm like, "Friends?
Yeah, right.
Where were y'all yesterday?
I lit you up yesterday, dude.
Nobody came to rescue you, did they? The Trump administration's doing battle still with Harvard over unmet demands for information on student visa holders. They said Harvard's going to lose its ability to enroll foreign students if they don't meet the requirement to share information. The Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said yesterday the termination of 2 DHS grants totaling $2.7 million to Harvard. You know what's interesting is I saw everybody whining about, oh, how are you going to take funds from Harvard? How are you going to take funds? They have $53 billion in endowment money. In all honesty, they don't need any government money.
Right.
So they're not hurting. You're not breaking anyone. You're not hurting the school. You're not hurting anybody.
Dude, I hate shit like this because it's like, oh, all of a sudden everybody's got an opinion on how Harvard's
Harvard.
funded. Like, dude, I'd never heard you talk about that before.
Right.
And you've got this like hardline opinion about it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect us at all. Do you know
No.
anybody? Do you even know anybody that went to Harvard? Like,
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I do know somebody who took an online class at Harvard.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Just to say they went to Harvard.
Right.
All right, McDonald's says the snack wrap's coming back, so that's big for a lot of people.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Oh, did RFK do that? Like, RFK
Yeah,
said,
probably
I'm bringing
so.
the snack wrap back.
You said you're going to put that back on there.
Yeah.
Some are saying it's reminiscent of the Willy Wonka debacle, but fans of Mr. Beast underwhelmed after they dropped $1,000 on the Mr. Beast experience. It's a 3-day event that was held this past weekend at Resorts World Las Vegas. It was billed as immersive and unforgettable. In an email, though, to a news outlet, disgruntled guests were not happy. They said expectations were not met, that customers can expect full refunds within the next 3 to 5 days. But the guests were told to anticipate a mystery gift sent to their hotel rooms and say, wait there till you get the package. So you know what they're thinking. Oh, this is going to be something cool.
good.
It's going to be
Especially
something.
after watching the Beast games. And
Right,
seeing how much
maybe
he
it's going to be a mystery thing. Maybe it's a clue.
Right.
Maybe it's the money. It could be anything. Now they waited 2 days and they got a box of chocolates, and then they got a second box which had children's Mr. Beastwear in it. So they weren't real happy about how
Wait,
it went.
isn't that what the whole show is about anyways? Is like random thing, you have to choose and somebody gets the crap gift and somebody gets...
So yeah, but I mean,
So you got the experience.
you got the experience. $1,000. Look, it's the first one they've done. I'm sure they'll beef it up and make it work. Look, it's not like he's broke, and
Right.
chances are he's not even running it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. It doesn't seem like Jimmy's very hands-on on that one.
No, it's probably been licensed.
Right,
He's
right.
so big now that
Exactly.
that's what happens. A new trailer for the third movie in the 28 Days franchise is out 28 years later. It follows 2003's 28 Days Later and 2007's 28 Weeks Later. The plot of the new chapter, basically the same. 28 years after the virus, Now, yeah, it's still zombies. Okay. That's the end of it. I'm not reading all that. It's zombies.
No, it's
okay?
like that's not something I know a ton of people that are super excited about that movie, and it's just like, man, I just remember not caring for the first movie. Maybe I was
okay.
too young whenever it came out. It just didn't captivate me.
It was all right. I mean, if I'm going to go zombies, I do like, what is that? What's the one that's real popular that had Ving Rhames in it? God, man, not Day of the Dead, but there's
Dawn of the Dead.
maybe it's that. I'd have to look, but there's a couple really good zombie movies that I like. But a lot of I didn't love 28 Days
Yeah,
Later.
I mean,
It was okay.
Interesting concept. But
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
I didn't love. What's the one with Brad Pitt? The Zero.
Yeah.
It's
World
okay.
War Z.
Yeah, World War Z.
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
okay.
care for that one
It's
either.
okay. It's okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, but once you
I like
do
them to be
zombies,
fun, you know.
yeah, I would like a little more fun in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Zombieland, I feel like that was a great with Woody.
No,
Harrelson.
Zombieland is fun.
Yeah.
Now that was a good treatment. But let's see. These days, unruly flyers often cause the grounding of passenger airlines. Who would expect that from a bunny? On Sunday, the right engine of United Flight 2325, it was leaving Denver for Alberta, caught fire after a rabbit found itself on the runway as the plane was departing and was sucked into the engine. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that poor rabbit just sitting there minding its business and all this? Yeah, it was all over.
Just in time for Easter.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, you could hear the pilot on the recording. It said, "Rabbit through number 2, that'll do it, all right." And he said, "Yeah, we're going to have to taxi over." And they returned to the gate, lined up a new aircraft, and moved everybody over for a rabbit. Man, speaking of rabbits,
I feel like the animals are, going against flying objects.
maybe.
That penguin took down the helicopter.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he
Now
did.
rabbit takes down a plane.
Yeah,
I'm
they
telling
could
you,
be
man,
the revenge of the animals.
There's a conspiracy theory going on.
Let's keep the bunny talk going. So Easter's coming up on Sunday, right?
Yep.
Kids across the country are going to be getting into the holiday
No,
spirit.
yes.
But according to a new survey, 47% of Americans are opting out of egg dyeing because of the high price of eggs. Do you believe this?
Yeah.
You do?
I mean, yeah. Eggs are expensive, man.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. You tell me I'm gonna spend $7 on a dozen eggs to go paint them
What
and not
about-
be able to use them now?
My parents never had real eggs. They bought the plastic.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Isn't that what you always had?
I mean,
you did an Easter egg
usually-
hunt?
I was about to say I can maybe remember 4 times in my life actually dyeing eggs, but it's not
We dyed eggs every once in a while when I was really little.
right, but not.
But
Yeah, the plastic.
Yeah, we'd
pop
hunt the
open.
plastic ones because my parents would put prizes in it,
Yeah.
mainly coins that you
Right,
know,
yeah, exactly. Change.
And you'd hunt for that because I'm gonna tell you something. You hide a hard-boiled egg and can't find it. You will find it at some point. And it's funky like a monkey. You hear me?
Right.
Yeah, for real. All right, having a phone may not be as bad for tweens and young teens as we think, according to new research. The study involved over 1,500 11 to 13-year-olds, found out those who have their own phone reported better results in nearly every measure of well-being versus kids who didn't. Kids with phones less likely to report depression and anxiety, have higher self-esteem, more likely to spend more time with friends in person, and be more physically active. Well, that kind of goes against everything we've heard, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
it.
not sure. Right.
But I feel like I could see it too. It's all about how you control that device. Not every phone is like our degenerate phones. What I mean?
That's
Like,
true,
you got to control it because I feel like it would be a disadvantage now. And I don't have kids and I'm an idiot, but I don't know anything. But I feel like it would be a disadvantage to have a 13, 14-year-old.
It probably
You're
would
like,
socially.
no. Yeah, socially
would.
and just.
Oh, I got what you're
Well,
saying.
first of all,
they got to be up to speed.
yeah,
on-
if you're 13 without a phone, your friends are going to give you hell.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, you can't connect with all the friends that you've
Right.
got. I mean, you're just out of the loop.
Right. Nobody has a home phone anymore. Like,
No.
it's not.
The's no home
You know what I
phone.
mean? No.
Yeah, raise your hand if you still have a home phone. Right. Okay, that's what I thought. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced yesterday they have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration. Shocking. They're challenging the legality of the tariffs. The lawsuit, well, it's another lawsuit. That's what you need to know. While speaking to the Economic Club of Chicago, which has to be the most fun club you'd ever go to, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the Fed's not in a rush to change interest rates. Thanks, asshole. We appreciate it. In March, consumer prices rose 2.4% compared to last year. That is the lowest jump in a while. But he warned that Trump's new tariffs could push inflation back up. Well, how about lowering the interest rate? Try that. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Jerome, what do you think?
Go to the next
Jerome's in the resistance.
economic club hangout.
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Let's go hang out at the Chicago Money Club, y'all. Apparently, a senator wanted to grandstand. His name is Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. He went to El Salvador yesterday. He wanted to advocate for the release of this Abrego Garcia, the Maryland guy. And so he got there. He was going to go see him. Well, he visited with the vice president, who said, yeah, no, you're not going to visit him. You can't even go to the prison. What? No, you can go back home. And so that's what he had to do. It was kind of embarrassing for him. He flew all the way over there just to have to turn around and go back home. U.S. District Judge issued a decision yesterday saying he found cause to hold the Trump administration in contempt for violating a court order. Now, this was the court order when they had already had the people being deported on a plane, and the judge says, you turn those planes back around.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, they just kept on moving, huh?
Yeah, now they're going to sue him for that. You know, that this is the new thing. If you can't beat people in the polls or in the ballot box,
sue 'em and tie
you just
their
keep suing and tying their hands as much as you can. And we saw it last time. It's not new. The Trump administration plans to terminate the IRS Direct File program. That's a free electronic tax filing system launched under the Biden administration. It was designed to simplify and reduce the cost. Now, it got praise from users, but criticism from some lawmakers and private tax companies who argued it was redundant and costly. Very expensive for them to maintain is the problem. So I'm sure that they're working on something. I wish they would come up with the way that Trump said, where it's a postcard. Can we not just do that? Make it easy on everybody.
Right.
Let's see what else is going on here. This is a good story. Ends good anyway.
Yeah.
Late Monday afternoon, a 2-year-old boy, Bowden Allen, went missing in Seligman, Arizona, prompted an overnight search. He was found by a local rancher in the morning, standing at the end of the driveway with the rancher's dog, who is believed to have stayed with the boy overnight and led him back to safety. That's pretty amazing
dogs, dude.
there.
Yeah.
Dogs are the best.
Hell
right?
yeah, man.
Yeah, a cat would have just kept trying to get food from him. You got any food?
Can you imagine a cat? You'd never know that there was a kid out there. That cat wouldn't tell you shit.
No. A homeless man in California recently won $1 million from a scratch-off lottery ticket at a store in San Luis Obispo. When he learned the man didn't have a car and was going to mail in his winning ticket, the store's manager personally drove him to Fresno to claim the winnings. The man plans to use the money to buy crack. No, it says he plans to use to buy a home car and invest in his future.
Hookers and cocaine.
Hookers and blow.
Sounds like he's gonna have a good night.
No, you remember in what was it? Chappelle, the $500,000 5 o'clock free crack giveaway. Yeah, but he had the house party with the biggest crack rock ever. It's great. Lincoln Park, as they are now with the new lead singer, set to headline the UEFA Champions League final kickoff show. That's May 31st at Alliance Arena in Munich. It marks the band's return to the stage after a 7-year hiatus and the release of their new album, From Zero. The show's going to feature a mix of classic hits and new material. Have you listened to the?
No, I was just about to ask you guys. Is that well received? I haven't.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how well received it is. I don't really follow music charts.
Well, and there's just
but
no
anecdotally, I have not heard positive things from it.
Right. Yeah, same. I just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, most people are like, I don't get it. Why do it?
And I knew I just heard resistance because nobody wants a new person brought in, but hadn't heard anything about like the actual opinion of the music.
Well, look, sometimes, I mean, there are many bands who have succeeded with other, new lead singers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
AC/DC
Yeah,
comes to mind,
sure.
Van Halen. Van Hagar's not my favorite, but they were very successful.
Right.
And there have been some other ones as well, but I don't think this is going to work for them long term.
And it's a female, right?
Yes.
And see, I feel like that's stark too. Going from a male lead singer, and which, like I said, I don't know. She might sound fairly close because Chester
He did have a high pitch
for
range.
sure.
He had a wide range actually. This is kind of a funny story right here, and again, the birds, right? The animals.
Yeah.
They're pissed off.
attacking, man.
Apparently, Mother Nature decides to give this prestigious university the bird. The Vlotnik School of Government at Oxford University has been temporarily closed due to damage caused by seagulls attacking the glass roof. A seagull was seen repeatedly dropping a large rock on the center pane of the building's atrium and shattered the glass. They evacuated the facility. Maintenance staff believe the gulls think the stones are eggs and were trying to crack them open. While unusual, the behavior is attributed to the gulls' curiosity and learning, but the building will remain closed until they can figure out how to get rid of the gulls.
I don't buy the egg thing. I feel like those birds know exactly what they're
You're like,
doing.
yeah, watch this.
We want to get in there.
Yeah, there's something in there I want.
Yeah.
Back to Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm seeing. Little Doggy said she's meh. Brad says he digs the new LP. Lots of folks are haters on Emily.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
Nice.
say. It's
I
not
don't-
a 50-50. I've heard her.
I haven't heard, so I don't know.
I heard it, like, Lincoln Park when she first got announced as their new lead singer, and I checked out a couple of their songs, and I was like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
she's good, but it also feels to me like I'm just watching
It
the
feels
band
like-
Lincoln Park try and do karaoke to Lincoln
So it
Park.
feels kind of like it's America's Got Talent band
Yeah.
trying to do Lincoln Park.
Yeah, it was just, it didn't.
Yeah, I can kind of see. Look, if you were a Lincoln Park purist and you love Chester Bennington, that may feel a type of way to you.
Right.
I mean, and there are bands you could understand where if it happened, you'd feel that way. I mean, if midway through Led Zeppelin's career, he said, "Yeah, we're going to put a chick out here." Well, you wouldn't know the difference. Never mind.
Not Led Zeppelin.
No,
Well, and you would think with all the technology that they could still in some way, rather than just replacing him,
they-
like bring back the memory.
didn't they
of
hologram
Chester.
him once? I think
Did they?
they
I
did
don't know.
once, but yeah, with the technology, they could hologram him and bring him back.
Right.
Absolutely could.
I feel like that technology just must not
It's not
be honed
quite
in,
where they
or
want it.
more people would
Or
use it.
let me
Because
put
you
it
gotta
like this.
think it's gotta
It's
be
not
up
quite as cost effective as they
Yeah,
want it to
yeah,
Maybe that's-
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, maybe it has some limitations they can't quite overcome yet.
Right.
To make it as good as they want it to be. I don't know.
I figure once that does happen, though, we'll see it a lot more.
No, I absolutely think you will. Yeah, no, I think that's true. A 38-year-old Canadian man arrested at Disneyland New Orleans Square Saturday night after he was found naked. Yeah, not good at Disneyland.
Yeah, no.
They evacuated guests from the vicinity. He was climbing onto the entrance of the Tiana's Palace restaurant, exposing himself to park goers. He was detained, later arrested. Surprise, he was under the influence. And I don't know which is worse, you tell me. A 47-year-old Pennsylvania woman identified as Crystal Goss has been arrested after taking a dump in the beer cave of a Royal Farm convenience store in Hanover.
Jesus.
That's right. Surveillance footage showed her pushing aside a case of alcoholic beverages, pushing down her pants, and defecating on the shelves before leaving the store.
What?
It resulted in a strong $80 worth of merchandise being lost. She serves as the director of food and nutrition for a local school district.
Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that one's worse.
Yeah.
The guy at Disney World was just having a good time.
Yeah, she's probably not going to be the director at the school district much longer, I don't imagine. Why did you take a dump on the shelf? Were you so drunk? I mean,
Yeah,
It's
that
gotta
she
be.
just had to be
And look, them
hammered.
beer caves are cold.
well, either you're pissed off or you're really drunk.
Yeah.
Or both.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's get to just a little bit of sports here. So What do you think? Since the transfer portal opened March 24th, over 2,000 men's basketball players entered. That's about 35% of all players. In a game of have and have not, when money talks, players walk, no school knows better than Baylor. After getting ousted by Duke in the second round, Baylor has lost every single player from the season. 9 to the portal, 4 who've run out of eligibility, and 1 to the NBA draft. With literally no one returning, that leaves Coach Scott Drew with the task of reloading around 5-star player Tunde Yasofo and 5 others that make up the number 13 transfer portal class in the country. I mean, everybody on the team
was like done.
No, we're out.
We're done.
Right.
Man,
I think you'll see over time a return to like team loyalty, I guess. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe in the next 10 years you'll start to see people turning down bigger offers to
Yeah.
go to their home state
Once-
school. Or
yeah, I think
this is all just so fresh. All this money's
is.
out there.
That's-
All these kids are like, dude, if I don't
That's
get
it.
it now, I could be screwing up. Like,
no, and we still don't have a good test case of
exactly.
how this is going to go for these kids over the
Right.
next few years because. And don't get it twisted. I'm a big advocate because everybody
sure.
was making money but the kids.
But the kids, yep. Universities making a killing.
However, I kind of wonder maybe if we should put some of this money in a trust where, they have to be a certain age before they get the
Right.
majority of it.
Or something along
But
those
we'll see
lines.
what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, but all I know is if I was 18, 19, and you gave me $4 million,
You're jumping on that.
bitch, I am doing things I shouldn't be doing. I damn sure ain't gonna play basketball too long. Unless they'll let me. No,
Oh yeah, no, that'd be my thing. Like, oh no, I don't play basketball anymore. I make commercials. For
Yeah.
these guys. Like, that's what I do.
I got things going on. I'm busy. I got ladies.
Same. I think the kids deserve it, but it does suck when you're like a poor school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
They
it
have a lot of
does.
that.
No, it
But
does.
you got to give the kids their, what they're worth.
Well,
So,
again, I mean, if everybody's making money except them, I mean, and
Well, yeah,
so
they're
you
all
look
making
at
money off
you look
of
at the
them, yeah.
coaches, you look at the administrators, you look at everybody in the advertising. I mean, everybody is making money on it except them. And I know what people say. Well, they get a college degree. Okay, well,
oh, yeah, that's worth.
Okay.
That's worth about a nickel.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, come on, man.
Well, and to think about college players that might have had a career-ending injury before NIL. Think 15 years ago.
No, I think this is great because let's be honest. As good as most college players are, very few of them survive in the NBA or even make it to the NBA.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
So, someone who worked hard, spent their whole career working hard, people love them, people like them, man, that's great. Or like you said, if they had an injury,
Yeah.
that's also great.
Right.
The other thing is kids staying in school longer.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Although I can probably pay someone to do my homework.
$4 million, yeah.
Yeah, so in the current college sports environment, the game is have cash, will travel. Savvy players learning how to play the game off the field in a way that benefits them the most. An example is Chavez Trask, known as Big Chevy. The first 5 years of his college football career, I said the first 5, has been spent at Temple, but he's now opted to transfer to a new school to spend a 6th year at, and he's advertising his availability on X. He's paid for an ad letting schools interested know. Oh, it says if you're interested in a 6'5", 290-pound O-line, D-line machine that's the best of both worlds, hit him up.
Wow.
So now he's advertising so he can get NIL money.
And you said he's going for his 6th year at college, so
Yeah, his 6th year.
Going
He's
for
like
that Bundrick
37. He's like, I still got another
Van
year of
Wilder.
eligibility. Yeah, right. We've all heard about how doping has infringed on professional and college sports. This is the first time weather has been part of a controversy.
what?
Sunday, a track and field event in Ramona, Oklahoma, saw discus records shattered. Some observers are calling it weather doping. What? Mykolos Alekina won the silver medal for Lithuania in the 2024 Summer Olympics. Over the weekend, he became the first man to ever shatter the 75-meter mark with a discus throw that traveled 75.5 meters at the Continental Bronze Tour event.
Tell them they were a week late. I'm sorry.
Scandinavian commenters criticized, citing the venue's engineered design, which appears to take advantage of high-speed winds, hence weather doping. To be clear, there are no rules that prevent taking advantage of wind, so no reason to invalidate the record.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Like,
Look, I mean, if I'm going to build some kind of place to do this discus throwing, and I'm in the sport, I'm going to think about going somewhere the wind is.
yeah, well, yeah, and
Why
just
wouldn't
as somebody who's throwing the disc, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's just primitive to it's my natural instinct to throw not against the wind,
Right.
Like, I didn't know I was breaking the rules, like.
No, it's
And if so, you got to break it down. Like, well, okay, we've got an against the wind category and a with the wind.
then you
category.
put it inside.
Yeah,
If you don't want the wind,
Yeah,
you put
exactly.
it inside,
There you
right?
go.
I mean, football stadium's big enough, put it in there, and you can be done. All right, let's take a break, and we will be right back. All right, let's just.
Hey, you know what? We got.
What?
You
What?
got some.
Oh, wait,
some
we
AI
do, don't we? Hold on.
Submitted ones, if you.
Yeah, let's do one
It's
of
up
those.
to you.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Let's see, where are they?
I
buddy?
think I put it on page 3. For
Oh,
you.
here we
Should
go.
be right there.
Okay, so let's go with this one. Okay, so let's play a listener song. Tasha, if you're online, and Little Doggy, put this one together for Tasha.
Shit. Okay.
And it's called Pickle Chip Paradise. So y'all enjoy that while we take a break. I don't know anything about it, just to be honest. I cannot,
It's like Tasha in the spotlight. Got a snack on my mind. Crunchy little treasures, the best you'll ever find. Sour and salty, that flavor explosion. Pop a bag open, it's a chip devotion. Every bite's a bite-sized dance. Pickle flavored dreams got me in a trance. Potato crisp, you know I can't resist. Perfect on their own or with a ham sandwich. Pickle chips, yeah, they make me sing. Crunch so loud like a bell that rings. Sour and salty, best of both worlds. La Tasha snack game, watch it unfurl. Pickle chips, oh, they light my day. Every little crunch takes my stress away. When the bag's empty, I'm here to say, bring on the chips, let's celebrate. Take a trip to the store, grab a huge bag. Going all in, never need to brag. Sharing's not a must, it's a solo spree. With pickle chips around, I'm feeling so free. Toss them in a bowl, let the party blow. Friends and laughter, let the good vibes flow. Crunch time, snack time, it's all divine. Pickle chips in hand, yeah, life's a sweet grind. Pickle chips, yeah, they make me sing. Crunch so loud like a bell that rings. Sour and salty, best of both worlds. La Tasha snack game, watch it unfurl. Pickle chips, oh, they light my day. Every little crunch takes my stress away. When the bag's empty, I'm here to say, bring on the chips, let's celebrate. So here's the scoop. Gather round my friends with every crunch. Let the laughter blend. Pickle flavored magic, it's a tasty affair. In the land of snacks, they're beyond compare. Let's raise a chip high, toast to the good times. I'm Latasha's and pickle chips, yeah, they're truly sublime. Pickle chips, yeah, they make me sing. Crunch so loud like a bell that rings. Sour and salty, best of both worlds. Latasha's snack game, watch it unfurl. Pickle chips, so they light my day. Every little crunch takes my stress away. When the bag's empty, I'm here to say, bring on the chips, let's celebrate.
Well, there you go. There you go. That was the Pickle Chip Paradise from Little Doggy. Little Doggy dropped that
I
one
feel
on
like you need to do that. Who was that old radio DJ that did the?
Casey Kasem?
Yeah, the.
I'm
heartfelt
Casey Kasem with a long distance dedication from a boy to his dog. Dear Rusty.
That's pretty good.
Thanks,
Pretty
man.
spot
That was a
on.
good one.
Yeah, I appreciate
They
that.
like it though. Brad said it's a banger. Latasha said, "Little doggy, start writing the acceptance speech."
Oh, he's getting the Grammy now.
That's taking over your
I
number one
appreciate
spot
y'all.
on
I
the-
appreciate y'all dropping all my tracks for Pickle Chip Paradise.
on the Angry
That's great.
Billboard 100.
I'm gonna have to do something now. See, I got to do something radical to get my love back.
Right, right.
So I will tell you this. Let me just give you this little preview today. I am going to drop a parody song later today with copious amounts of language in it. So I'm giving you the heads up.
That was a good one, though. I think everybody will like
But
that.
it's a timely parody song. It's just for fun. It may piss somebody off. I don't know.
It's all for good.
But it's all just for
it's
being
all-
silly, because I've got a thing later today, a story I want to do, and I said, hey, this would be great with this story I want to do. Let me just make something that works with it, And it turned into something pretty damn good.
I mean, I thought it was great, man.
I-
I jammed it out a few times.
I kind
I
of
listened
did.
to it on the way up here this morning.
I kind of bumped it myself a couple, 3 times. Once, I kind of do dig this.
Right.
It's weird. It does feel weird if you like something of your own and you're listening to it.
Yeah.
And you pull up next to somebody and you it's almost like you think they know you wrote it. Like, look at you narcissistic bastard, listening to your own thing and jamming your head bobbing to your own music.
Hey,
He's
man.
thinking people are going to get out of their car and be like, oh my God, it's him, it's him.
You got to be your own number one fan.
Well, I guess you're right in that regard.
No shame
right?
in that, man.
No, there really isn't. All right. So what's been going on with the summit, man? I know you got
Yeah,
the new
dude, we
thing
hit
going. What's happening?
Man, we hit
Tell
the
me.
ground running. Hired a few guys, got a few contracts under work, and working on some marketing and trying to get some more work lined
Yeah.
up. And we're looking to hire a couple of people. Too.
So well, let's take a step back
Yeah, what
because
you got?
because I think what we want to do is express to everyone what it is and why it's unique. So it's Summit Services, right?
Summit Service Group.
Summit Service Group. Okay,
Yep.
so Summit Service Group. When he told me about the concept, as someone who has done, I have a lot of homes that you have to do repairs in real estate. It's part
Right.
of it, and so you work with a lot of contractors, and getting them all in one place is tricky sometimes. And so, what you guys did is you put together plumbing, electrical, and HVAC, the big 3,
Yep.
under one umbrella.
Yeah, also insulation.
Oh, and insulation.
Yeah.
So now you got 4 under
Yes,
the
sir.
umbrella.
Yes, sir.
That's really pretty amazing because it is hard to find, great service people, and if you can do it in one swoop, man, that's very convenient for a lot of people.
Yeah, man, I got to give it to my partner, Michael. He's done a bunch of work behind the scenes and getting the website up. We've got a super efficient website where you can book online, book an appointment online.
Yeah.
Or
What is the website?
that's going to be summitsg.co.
SummitSG.co.
Yep.
SummitSG.
SG.co.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll be looking to hire more people coming up too. You can send an application or your resume to my email or the email listed on the website. We'll be looking to hire a master plumber, a licensed HVAC tech, another journeyman electrician before too long, and probably some more apprentices to go.
Wow,
with those guys.
that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
You
we're just
guys-
taking it a week at a time right now. We've hired
Yeah.
a couple people, and we're going to get the work that we've got lined up.
So
done, and-
it looks like you're going to expand though fairly quickly if things go well. Is that
we're
right?
We're trying to, because the vendor packs you're filling out, we're filling them out as a small company, but it's for big contracts. It's
Right.
gonna take more employees than we have right now.
That's
so.
correct. Yeah, especially if you're doing, working with companies and builders and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
Latasha
and-
says, Tom might reach out to you, man. He's been looking for something.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah, send them on over.
But please do listen. You won't regret working with Dustyn.
Yeah, I'm almost sure that we've got a Facebook page up too under Summit Service Group.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can check us out there.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting to see this happen and see it grow, and I think you've got a really smart concept that's going to go well. Who is ultimately, I know you want to work with anybody, obviously, but, when you're out there hitting the market, is it new home builders you're targeting? New corporate? What is
We're
it?
mostly looking for new home builders, and we're going to provide everything. So any commercial jobs, we're looking for that. But yeah, mostly new construction. Now I still have Bundy Electric as a separate entity from Summit Service Group, so I'll still kind of do those small jobs, small residential remodels, stuff like that.
Right. But this is, when you're putting in subdivisions.
Yeah, that's the
or
kind of
homes
stuff
like
we're
that,
trying to crank out.
because you can go in and knock out the 3 major systems plus
Exactly.
insulation
Exactly.
in one swoop, and
Right.
and what that does for them is keep their billing tight,
Right,
and
right.
and makes it easier. You have less
Everything's
sources.
in-house,
Yeah. All right. Speaking of in-house, man, let me ask you guys this: have you ever, stumbled across a secret, basement or room or a tunnel or anything like that in your life that you found and explored anywhere?
Man, I have a few just on the electrical side, being under old houses or
Yeah.
never found anything cool per se, but just when you're in a room or a space that nobody's been in a long time, or,
Yeah.
there hasn't been, a light turned on in it in 100
Yeah.
years or something. I found a couple of cool places. like
Really?
that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, where at?
Man, I did. First place that comes to mind is a old farmhouse in St. Vincent, Arkansas. It's out past Morrilton, and they actually had a basement that had been filled in at one
Okay.
point, or at
Yeah.
least part of it. So you're crawling under the house, and it's like a crawl space. You're
Right.
only a couple of feet, and then you could actually find the stairwell to the old basement.
Really?
There's still a little cavity of it you could
Oh,
crawl
wow.
down in, but that's about the cool. Nothing too
Okay.
intriguing, but.
How about yourself?
Yeah, no,
No?
never found a secret room anywhere.
All right, check this out. This homeowner was shocked after detailing he discovered kind of an Indiana Jones-esque labyrinth of hidden chambers and tunnels under his home. He found a network of tunnels and rooms. He said, in the photo shows stairs leading
Oh, yeah.
down into a basement, various dark passageways, a maze-like area with multiple doorways. It also shown are some pretty macabre-looking quarters, a dingy cell-like room with a grate on the floor and a shaft of light coming through the ceiling. Another chamber had exposed piping and one single LED light illuminating the surroundings. Said the tunnels just keep going. They estimated there were 5 rooms in total, some of which had running water, others had power.
Wow.
They don't know why it was there. But he pointed out that there were many stained blankets with perhaps blood.
Okay.
Redditors
That took a
started
turn quick.
right. Redditors started placing their guess. One said, "Congrats, you now have your very own torture dungeon." Another said, "Time to move. The serial killer's coming back."
Right.
Others compared it to horror films like The Silence of the Lambs. However, some were less impressed. One said, "Isn't that just called a basement?" Armchair interior designers floated suggestions on how to renovate the space, but that's wild to find something like
Yeah,
that
that's-
under your
Especially
home.
so in depth. Like,
Yeah, you would
that's
think
like
like
a
that
whole
wasn't on
other
the
house under
that
a
wasn't on the
house,
house
like-
plans, or I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
almost like they built a house over a house.
Right.
Right. And it's got power and water, which I guess if you didn't know it was there, you weren't using any power and water. But
Right,
you
but
would-
still, you would.
think.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then he said a LED light fixture. That means it's
somebody had
gotta
been
be
in there.
something recent.
Yeah, they had to be in there at some point
Right.
before long, right? I mean, I wonder how he found quote if he
Right.
went under the house and
tunnels
found a
just-
room
yeah,
that led to it,
like, that's
or
very-
did he pull up the floor? Because sometimes you can pull up flooring.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
and they'll
crazy
have a-
what you might find.
Right.
Crawl a freighty hole space or something.
Yeah.
Or like I've heard of somebody like knocking down a wall and finding, like old books or a lot of money stored
Yeah.
away or something. You're talking about, a whole just another house.
Have you ever moved into a house where you did discover some stuff that was left that was interesting or cool?
Unfortunately not. But believe me, I look. I be thinking about it. And
No, I've had it happen 2 or 3 times, and I always get excited. I think, I finally found it. This is it. This is it. When we had bought our house the last time, the attic had some albums in it. Very,
nice.
very, very old albums.
Nice.
and some books in it, like from the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
And I was like, oh, yeah,
Wow.
You got
this
that,
is
you hit the
money.
load now.
This is money. They're perfectly preserved. No, it wasn't worth shit.
Yeah.
No, it's never the things I find that I think
Right.
would be worth something that are.
All right.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like I've definitely found some stuff that I think's cool in an old
Yeah.
attic or something,
Yeah.
but nothing that's worth anything, you know.
No, man.
Just old junk. But it's fun to find stuff like that, you know.
It is fun. Now I did once. I didn't find it, but I bought at a yard sale a painting.
Yeah.
And it just happened to at the time match the color scheme I had. It never matched the color scheme I had again.
Right.
So I had it in storage, and it looked original to me, and I couldn't just chunk it.
Right.
I was like, man, I need to do more research on
And
this.
just find out.
Well, I bought it before the internet was really big.
Right.
You know, so finally, when we moved to that house we were buying, I said, well, I'm not going to put this up anywhere. I need to see and it was worth a little money. I sold it for about $300. It was an original piece, actually.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
But it wasn't.
Wasn't a big.
No, it wasn't like the people that find the Picasso at Goodwill.
Right.
You know, or I bet in my life I've probably used coins that were worth thousands
Yeah.
and paid
Yep.
somebody. It probably went through a million hands and nobody knew it was worth money.
Yeah, man.
know,
that is something. I worked at a gas station for a couple of years out of high school, and that's
Yeah.
something I learned to pay attention to. Was look at your coins. Don't take them to the bank and cash them all in. You know.
Yeah, do you still do that as a
Yeah, I
habit?
still do it, and again, never found anything worth.
Never
anything,
found
but
one.
it is cool to have a 1950s, penny or something. I always just like thinking of like, man, there's no telling whose pocket this could
No.
have been in. I could do that kind of shit all day.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I had a bunch of baseball cards that I was going
God,
through, and
dude, I have. too
I
many
spent
baseball cards.
days upon days upon days going through them, and I would get excited over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, you'd find this card that's like from the 60s, you know, and you're like, oh, snap.
Right,
Yeah, here we go. This thing's matte colored. It's not
Yeah.
even glossy. This is a good one.
3 cents.
No, it is worth $3. Yeah. Shit, man. How can it be that old? But
Right.
it's interesting when you look at the card market because
Yeah, it's something.
when
real heavy.
until the 80s, you have a lot of valuable cards. But
Yeah.
when the 80s, very late 70s and early 80s, that's when the mass production
Yeah,
happened.
they just
And
started mass.
They just
producing
flooded
all
it.
that. Yeah, for sure.
And so unless you get a rare card, and they still have them.
Yeah, there's
most
kind
of
of
the
been a
most of the
resurgence.
modern ones aren't very valuable.
There's kind of been a resurgence in cards, not so much sports cards. Like, believe it or not, some of the most valuable cards right now are like Disney cards. Disney puts out their own trading cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whatnot's been huge for the card market.
What is Whatnot?
It's an app. It's kind of like TikTok. It's all live, but mostly you're trying to sell something on there.
Really?
So it's a live selling app.
So it's like a nonstop infomercial.
Yeah, pretty much.
And do individuals go there and
yeah.
sell, or what?
Yeah, so you'll have somebody on there, and they'll have like a link on their feed, on their
Okay.
live feed, and that's going to take you to their Shopify account, like with their whatever they're selling, and mostly it's cards, and it's not any different cards that you can go to Target and buy, and it's usually about the same price, but they will open it live on air, and you
Okay.
can see what you get, and that's like the most popular thing right now is they call them like, rips, like you're ripping open a pack and seeing what you're
Okay.
getting, and it's like it's a suspenseful type thing,
Yeah,
'cause they're
no,
going through
because-
each card,
yeah.
and they kind of pull one back, and they can see a shimmer of a card
Yeah,
that might be
something
worth
good.
something in the back. So, man, that's something I've always been real heavy into is cards.
And what's the name of that?
Whatnot.
Whatnot.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have to check that out.
Oh,
I
man,
mean, what
it's
all do
huge.
they have that they sell on there? Everything?
Everything. I'm on there mainly
How
paying
do you-
attention to cards.
How do you know? I mean, is it like TikTok that there's a million people on there at the same time selling stuff? You're just scrolling through to find something you want to buy.
And me particularly, I downloaded the app already with cards in mind, so I just went and
Okay.
immediately followed two people I knew that follow cards. And
Okay.
that's kind of my
So are
only
you're a
feed on
big
there.
card guy?
Yeah. I've got way too many
What,
baseball and Pokemon and
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
What are your? May I ask, if you don't mind? What are your prized cards?
I got a rookie Luca that I'm pretty proud of. I paid a couple $100 for that. I'm hoping it goes up after this
Yeah.
season. with the Lakers.
Yeah, I bet.
Let's see, I've got an old PSA 10 graded. That's the main thing in the card market. If you want to make money off of
You
it,
gotta have
you
it
got to send
graded.
it to PSA to get
Yeah.
graded. And then that market fluctuates too. What it costs,
Sure.
the return time. I've sent cards off before where it's like, I forgot. And then a year later, they sent them back. And I was
Wow,
like, oh, shit, dude, I
that
forgot.
long?
Yeah, it's not like that now. You can get them back within like 30 or 60 days right now.
Okay.
But that market fluctuates.
But you
too.
got a PSA 10. What were you saying?
Joe Montana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's not worth too much, like maybe $50, $100. But,
Okay. You said 50 or 100 or 1,500?
50 or 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cards that seem to be worth the most, other than just the ones they put limited numbers out on, are the mistakes.
Yeah.
The mistake cards seem to be among the most valuable.
Yeah, that's a huge one, and it's kind of like I guess it's with all cards. It's only worth what somebody's willing to pay
That's
for.
exactly
but
right,
the
yeah.
mistake cards, there are people huge into where that's all they have. Their collection is
Yeah.
nothing but misprints or mistypes.
Yeah,
or,
misprints where they left
Yeah.
the name off, they forgot the team name, they
Right.
put the wrong player name on,
Right.
things like that.
No, that's
they're worth a
super,
lot.
and I love stuff like that. Like I love getting into every aspect of it.
Yeah.
The error cards are fun because, like I said, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. Where the other cards, they kind of have a standard of, well, this card is worth a base price.
Right.
Of this.
Yeah.
And the error cards, it's like, man, if this dude has error
It's
cards and
subjective.
wants one, he'll pay for it.
That's right. No, it's very subjective. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
One of the biggest ones I'm collecting right now is, are you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary V?
No, I'm not. Tell
Man,
me
you
who's
gotta
Gary
look-
B.
You got to look him up. He is his life pursuit is to own the New York Jets. That's
Okay.
But he's an entrepreneur, born and raised in New York. Or actually, he was born in Belarus, Russia. Russian immigrant. Came here. His dad owned a liquor store in New York. He took over his dad's liquor store at like 22, grew it to a $3 million business, and now he runs a ton of different things. He hates the term, but a motivational speaker.
Okay,
more or less.
right.
But you'd love his content. He is a purebred entrepreneur, man.
Okay.
Like, and the shit he preaches is entrepreneurship, like to a T. You
Yeah.
know, but he owns a ton of stuff right now. And one of the things he's doing is he's tried to create his own version of a Disney or a Pokemon sense. Like he has a series of characters called V-Friends. And they've all got, I've wore their hoodies in here before. They've all got like positive attributes to each of these characters.
Okay, so he's created his own lineup of characters.
Yeah.
He makes cards with them, and
Yeah.
these cards are valuable.
Yeah, well, they're not so much valuable. He's using the sale of the cards to kind of fund this project right now. And he's got
Okay.
like a cartoon series on YouTube that represents
Okay.
the characters and all that. He's kind of using it as a crowdsource to.
Yeah.
They're not valuable now, but his intent is to grow this series of characters.
Where that it will be valuable.
Yes, exactly.
That is interesting, something like that.
Because all the cards too are representations of his hand drawn
Art,
images
yeah.
of these characters. So it'd be like having a hand drawn Mickey Mouse card. that-
Right.
If he does with it
If
what he
it
wants.
moves that
But
direction.
even
right.
if you're not interested in cards or V-Friends or any of that, look up Gary Vaynerchuk. He puts so much positive entrepreneur advice out there.
I'll need to check him out.
I've
for
followed
sure.
him for a long time.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Rich, are you a card collector at all?
No.
Were you
I've
as a
never,
kid?
I don't think I've ever really been
No.
a collector of anything.
Nothing.
I don't know if it's just because I, forget where most of everything is or what, but
Would you say when it comes to, decorating, anything like that, are you pretty bare bones, or are you big on decor?
no,
What-
I'm
no.
definitely a minimalist.
A minimalist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're definitely not a hoarder. That's
No,
for sure. You know, you
no.
don't even collect anything. So you're just like, no, I don't need
Yeah,
shit.
I need my couch, my love seat, my
Yeah.
recliner chair,
You collect
my
chairs
TV,
and
my
couches.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's
No,
it.
I get it. I get it.
I mean, I have a few pictures around, but it's just kind of like,
Right.
Like I've got like what I call my announcer picture. It's really just like a big, old style microphone, and
Yeah.
I've got a couple of like old movie posters.
Sure.
yeah.
Now, what about games? I mean, you have a lot of those.
And not anymore.
Not
I
anymore.
mean, I do, but not like physical. because everything's going.
Well, that's
digital
true.
now,
They're all
so
digital
It's all
now,
just
right. Okay.
saved on there. But
Yeah, now-
No, and same thing. When I like back in the days of PlayStation 2s where you had the CDs and everything. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I had a bunch of games. But then
I still have my CD book full of
Do you?
all the PS2
Yeah.
games and Xbox games.
Man,
and stuff.
I stumbled across a whole bunch of CDs of mine when we were moving, and I looked at them. I'm like, what am I going to do with these?
Isn't
man?
it
I mean,
crazy
I don't
that
even
you just
know, man?
used to have so many physical things for
Yes.
your media?
Yes.
Where it's like, man, I can't, God, I had to keep up with these.
I know. It's like I can't throw electronics away. I struggle with that. Even if I
Right.
don't use it, I'm like, God, I don't want to throw it
Dude,
away.
are you one of those people, anytime I buy, like, anything Apple, I keep that box
Oh.
for 5 years. Yeah, dude, I've still got, like, the box this Mac came in, like,
Yeah.
AirPods box. Or
Yeah,
a
I'll
phone
keep
box. I
boxes
don't know.
just in
It's
case.
yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good justification for it.
Well, I will keep them at least for a year because if you have
Why?
to send it back,
oh,
right.
it's easy to send it back,
I mean, I
and it's
guess,
expensive. So
I've never had an iPhone, so
yeah, what do you use?
Android.
Of course he does. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, it makes sense. now.
Wait, what do you mean? Of course he does.
Makes sense now. You're an Android
just
guy.
seem
No,
like the
you're an
Android
Android
guy.
guy.
I see like that, yeah. Andy says I collect Mountain Dew.
Yeah, no, you definitely do that. All right, let's do this real fast, shall we? Here we go.
You know what? As a real estate agent, I've seen lots of homes get caught up in probate. That's when somebody dies and they don't have a will. And the next thing you know, siblings are arguing over houses, possessions, cars, things like that. That is a nightmare you don't want any part of. You're going to need some help. You need someone with experience. You need Riggin Law. Okay, RigginLaw.com. Kristen Riggin there and her team are amazing at guiding you through this process. Look, you want to get what's coming to you, but you don't want to have to fight with everybody to get it. Just get Kristen to do the work for you. Go to RigginLaw.com. When you have questions, you have concerns about an inheritance, about anything like that, RigginLaw.com is the solution. Check them out. Have you been injured? You need an attorney with a passion for people and an obsession with justice. That attorney is Tim Reed in Little Rock. Look, they've won $1.3 million in wrongful death, almost $1 million in medical malpractice and in insurance dispute. These guys know what they're doing, but more importantly, he's not a figurehead of some kind. He's not just some person on a poster with a picture of a rig or a smile or his dog with him. This is a real guy you can text with, you can talk to, and who will take good care of you. He'll work with you personally to get what you deserve. Check out reedfirm.com, reedfirm.com, or give them a call, 777-7333.
Last night was amazing, at least until it wasn't. I can't even remember what got us so bent. From laughing and talking to yelling and squawking, from I only wanna feel you to I only wanna kill you. How can we love so damn much? Can't wait for each other's touch, to having absolutely zero patience, straight character assassination. Just this afternoon, you couldn't imagine life without me. Then how is it so soon? You can't stand anything about me. How can we love so damn much? Can't wait for each other's touch, to having absolutely zero patience, straight character assassination. We went from loving out loud to surrounded by a dark cloud. Body each other's touch, to having absolutely zero patience. Straight character assassination. It's straight assassination. But damn if I don't love you.
All right, we are back. It is Patrick and the people, and it is Friday Eve, baby.
Friday
We are almost to Friday.
No, we're almost to WrestleMania.
Oh, is that this weekend?
Happy
This
WrestleMania.
weekend,
Dude,
man. Saturday
busy
and
weekend.
Sunday.
Is it
You
really?
got 420 and Easter on Sunday.
Right.
You got
It's gonna be a great
WrestleMania
day.
Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a busy weekend.
Are you a fan of the 2-night dynamic that WrestleMania has implemented?
I wasn't at first, but I have.
Is
been.
it 2 nights now?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
2 nights now, which I feel like it just does everybody skip
So
Saturday
you have
night
to
and
now
just
you've
watch
got
Sunday?
2
Oh, no.
tickets that you got to buy to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
how's that work for the pay-per-view? You got to buy 2 pay-per-views?
Well, I mean, I really don't know because I don't think they do the pay-per-views anymore. It normally streams on Peacock.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Wow, man, that shows you how long it's been since
WrestleMania?
Yeah,
Literally.
all the pay-per-views for WWE stream on Peacock.
I told my wife.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I told my wife last night when we were talking about watching WrestleMania. I was like, dude, the last WrestleMania I remember watching, WrestleMania 21. And now what?
Wow.
Which one is this?
WrestleMania 41, I think. Yeah.
Like, dude, I just can't believe
So
that.
20 years ago. Yeah.
It wasn't, well, man, no, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, because y'all went to one.
Yeah, we did.
Hey,
We,
that's-
I took Noah and Tyler to
You
New
still
Orleans.
should be getting dad props out of that.
Man, that was a great trip. We had a hell of a time, man. It was just us, the guys, it was me and the boys, and we drove down to New Orleans, and it was an absolute blast. I mean,
Hell yeah.
first of all, we had great seats to begin with, but
we
we snuck down
that's super cool, man.
onto the floor, and we were not quite ringside, but we were damn close.
Right.
And I bet we were down there for an hour.
Hell yeah.
Before we went back, we got tired and went back to our seat. Like,
Right.
I'm tired of standing. Let's go sit down now.
Right.
But it was so cool, man. I mean,
Right.
It was really what
know.
a great experience it was.
I always feel like such a simple country boy when I go into places like that because I always tell my wife, like, well, it doesn't really matter where the seats are. We're probably not going to be sitting in them. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
so
right.
mesmerized by everything. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to walk around and look
And
at
just
shit the
it's
whole
such a
time.
spectacle.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, no, just buy the cheapest seats and that's your price of entry and then go in there and
walk around. Yeah, because when you go to WrestleMania, I mean, you get everybody.
Oh,
you get the casual fan,
Right.
but you get a lot of super fans
Oh,
who they are decked out in their gear, whatever their
Right.
choice of gear is. Some of them are dressed like the wrestlers. Some of them
Oh,
are
I
dressed.
bet New Orleans especially too.
Oh,
They were decked
man,
out.
they
Yeah.
were.
That's
It
going to be
was-
down there next year
Is it?
in New Orleans.
Yeah, assuming New
They're
Orleans is
returning
still
to-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a whole experience now, man. It's no longer just going and seeing the wrestling. Like there's meet and greets, there's VIP
right.
experience packages.
It's almost
there's
like a
after
weekend
parties,
festival, I'm
like
sure.
Yeah.
Mark Henry DJs out at a club in Vegas now.
Well, does he really?
Yeah,
the,
dude,
the world's
seriously.
I was
strongest
about
man.
to say the world's strongest man.
I have pictures with him. He was a really nice guy, actually. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed meeting him.
I think we need to get him in here and have him body slam through a table.
I would be honored to be body slammed by Mark Henry, to be honest with you. But no, he was really nice. He was one of those wrestlers that I remember because he was just more than willing to take any picture in the
Right,
world you wanted.
right,
you know,
right.
And he was a really good sport. You know,
Who's some of you guys? What's one, if you had to name one? What's your favorite wrestler from back in the day?
go ahead,
I
Richard.
mean, I was going to say, how far back are we going? Because if you're going back to when I first started, I mean,
like
Ultimate
80s,
Warrior,
90s, 2000s wrestlers.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
great one, Jake the Snake.
He's going to be at Comic Con in Arkansas.
Oh, I
this
saw
year.
that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
man.
That's dope.
Big boss. man.
Sentimentally, Kerry Von Erich.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Von
Yeah,
Erich.
that when I grew up, the Von Erichs were the team.
Have you watched that movie yet?
Yeah, it's dark as hell too.
Yeah,
man.
I haven't watched it.
It's such it's like Legends of the Fall. Nothing good happens to this family at all.
Bad occurrence
And
after
just
bad
one
occurrence.
thing after
Yeah.
another, man. I mean, I think out of they had 4 sons. I think one of them's alive.
Right.
and 2 of them died by suicide. You know, so that's tough, man. But man, they were highly entertaining.
Right.
Probably though, Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's my
is,
number one. Man.
Is
That's-
really, you know, if
that's
I
my
had
top
to
of the
pick
top.
one, yeah, I think he defines the Attitude Era. I mean, a lot of people say The Rock, and I don't disagree with that. They're hand in hand.
I
But
read
I
a
just
stat.
love Stone Cold.
I read a stat the other day that said out of their 10 matches between The Rock and Stone Cold's won 9 of them.
Really?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
First of all, they only had 10, which
Right.
doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah,
when you
in
think
the
about
years
it.
that they went
Yeah,
at
all
it,
the
you
years
know?
they were at it, and number 2, 9 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on, Steve Austin. Baby.
Yeah, well, and I'm betting
Still to this day, nobody sold the stunner better.
Then The
than
Rock? Oh, dude.
No, that was one of the. That actually, what you just said is interesting because sometimes you hear something and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Sometimes you hear something and it rattles around in your dome for a while.
Right.
And I was talking to Rich and I was telling him, I like Stone Cold. We were talking about Stone Cold and we were just talking about the classic Attitude Era. And, I was telling him, I feel like Stone Cold was as dynamic as The Rock was. Stone Cold, was that guy.
Yeah,
But he made a point that was really interesting because he said, if it hadn't been for The Rock, that the stunner would never have been what it was. And I was like, well, what do you mean?
Right.
And he said, well, The Rock, well, you tell him, what did you say?
Well, I just said The Rock was always. I mean, you never saw anybody. Yeah, man. I mean, he
explosive.
he'd hit that, and The Rock would pop back up
Springboard.
and flip over,
Yeah.
and
I mean, just
nobody
sell the
sold
shit
it
out.
better. That's,
Right.
That's what it's called. It's
Yeah, you call selling it. And I had never even considered that
Right.
as part of the art. You think about the moves you're making, but you don't think about the moves you're taking.
Right.
And how much of that is part of the art, taking the bump,
Right.
taking that fall, taking that hit, and selling it to look good.
Right,
And
right.
so to your point, his point being is The Rock, if it hadn't been for his exaggerated responses, it may not have been as big a thing as it was.
exactly. Yeah, that the Rock really cemented Stone Cold for that move
Right.
at least. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
by the way he sold it, and again. Stone Cold, credit to him, is his what started his career. I'll always say is the 316 promo,
Yeah.
where
Yes.
Austin 316.
Yeah,
says,
that was
And I
the
just
moment.
heard-
the feud between him and The Rock really helped build
Right.
Stone Cold.
Well, that's
in
true.
my book, at
Well,
least.
dude, and I just heard something. Paul Levesque, Triple H.
Yeah, Paul.
He was on Andrew Schultz's podcast this week, and he talks about he got in trouble for breaking the golden rule. They kind of all came together at the end of a night and kind of hugged. There was 2 people going to WCW. It was their last
Oh,
night.
you're talking about the curtain call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they kind of broke the golden rule and all kind of gave each other a pat on the back after they kicked each other's ass.
Yeah.
Kind of showed.
Oh,
And it was while they were still on TV. And
Oh,
it was,
okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the punishment for Triple H was that he couldn't win. That because they had to take, they had to essentially punish him from the corporation for doing that. He
Yeah.
couldn't punish the other 2 guys because they were going to WCW. They didn't work there
right.
anymore.
So they punished him.
And his punishment was he couldn't win that King of the Ring. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, but because of that, Stone Cold did. Stone Cold did the King of the Ring. That's when he did the
Right.
Austin promo to Jake the Snake Roberts, and that's what blew up Austin 316.
Wow. So just a bunch of
Domino
coincidental.
effect. Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that is.
And Austin, Stone Cold came up with that Austin 316 line off the top of his head.
yeah, just
Like,
ad
that's
lib.
Yep.
Ad lib.
beautiful, dude.
No, it is the greatest. That probably is the single greatest line.
Come on, Austin 316.
I would
says,
have to say
just
that's-
whooped your ass.
They
That's
I
have
just
a,
whooped your ass.
Speaking of WrestleMania, they have a new documentary out on, I believe it was on Paramount, and it's called like The Spectacle of WrestleMania. But
Yeah.
they even footage from back in the day, like
Yeah.
WrestleMania 2s and 3s. It's just a really good documentary, man.
Interesting.
Watch it.
Interesting.
I
All
caught it
right.
This last weekend, it's good.
Let me make mention, if I could, that here in just a very short few minutes, I am going to air this new song. It is a parody song, and it is full of very adult-oriented language. So just please be aware of that. Not that that's shocking here, but I try to be cool and
What did we say earlier? If Tom McDonald and Limp Bizkit had a baby, it'd be
yeah,
this
it might spit this song out. Yeah, but let's start here for now, and we're gonna weave our way to this song. Scientists have developed the world's first vagina on a chip. I don't mean it's not a potato chip. Okay, a small device that contains live human cells and replicates the cellular environment found in a vagina. Now, by adding bacteria to the device, aptly named the vagina chip, researchers can study how different microbes affect the health of it. They can also test how different drugs, different probiotics change the composition of the microbiomes, all of that's going on. So basically, they've made a coochie chip, a microchip cooter. Yeah. Yeah. It measures a 1 inch long and contains donated cells from women. The cells collected from, where they were collected from. Okay, I don't have to tell you where they harvested. So that's wild, though.
That is.
I mean, think
And
about
wait, so
that.
this is something that people are supposed to have implanted in them, or what?
No. They're just they're using it to
It's just a
study.
lab full
a
of
lab
vajayjays.
Yes, yeah, that's right. It's a lab.
So in 6 months, when you're reading the news and you go, "Oh, 18 vajayjays escaped from a lab," and,
Right,
yeah.
right.
You're crazy though if you don't think somebody is porking that thing after office hours, dude. Like, you're crazy. Everybody leaves like, no, I'll get the lots. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
got some last minute paperwork.
Listen, I got to run over here to the butthole farm. Oh, that's wrong. All right.
Like, dude, Rich is just really dedicated. He's staying after hours
And he
every
works-
day.
I mean, like he's got a cot in the back. I don't know what's going on. Is that a lotion warmer? Oh wow, yeah, man. I mean, that's wild that they're growing those hooters in a lab. Yeah, you're right. Somebody's going to be doing something somewhere. There's no way.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, there's going to be a cooter mart before long.
Yeah.
You just go in and pick one to take home with you.
Right.
What if the place catches on fire, man? There'll be a lot of hot action going on.
Well, man, it's,
There you go. There you go.
no, Rich, no, no. You just sullied the bit. I almost just wanted. Yeah, now I have to work really hard to recover here. So, all right, let's move on to Elon then.
What's he doing?
This is speaking of cooters. In a revealing Wall Street Journal report, Ashley Sinclair allegedly turned down a multi-million-dollar hush agreement from Elon Musk to keep the paternity of their child, Romulus, secret, not wanting him to feel like he's a secret. She says Musk offered $15 million up front and $100,000 a month until he turned 21. Now, apparently, the contract, according to this, lacked key protections like medical security and a trust fund. Stop right there. What do you mean it lacked? $15 million and $100,000 a year, and you can't afford medicals and come on, man. Come on, man. That's the greediest shit I ever heard in my life.
Dude, it's so billionaire-esque that, like, even having kids to them is completely different. It's just a business.
It's transactional.
It's
Yeah.
transactional, 100%. It's like, oh yeah, let's draw up the contract on Romulus real quick.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He's
Jesus,
like, well, I
man.
could use a condom, but I don't want to, and I'm rich, so what does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, here, you're pregnant? Okay, about $15 million and $100,000 a month. No.
I feel like
What?
in 30
know-
years, when all these kids are grown, it's going to be the weirdest group.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But can you imagine? I mean, how many hookers out there have worked their entire careers and never made $15 million and $100,000 a month?
never even thought.
I mean, come on. You hooked up with him. You got pregnant. Okay, you knew what you were doing. You turn down $15 million and $100,000. It's like being on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, right.
It's like
the banker called.
Yeah, you're hovering over the button, going, "Nah, $15 million,
I think
$100,000 a year, no deal."
Yep.
What?
And look, it even says, I was just looking because that was my question. Like,
Yeah.
all right, from birth to 18 years old, what's the average cost to raise a child?
Yeah.
And 237 to 414,000 in the U.S.
Okay, so again, that's pretty profitable.
Yeah.
You take $15 million. Okay, so
yeah,
that's
500,000 takes.
500,000 does that.
You
The
still
rest of
got-
it covers your medical and all that.
At
Huh?
the same time, I got to give it to her.
No.
I'm not taking the first offer either.
No, you're going to hold out a little bit.
Yeah, especially talking to Elon, like 15. What's 30 million? Maybe
Yeah.
30. Let's just double that real quick.
No,
and
You're
she's
saying she's
wheeling
just
and
a
dealing.
good negotiator.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite Musk sending her $2 million during pregnancy, she later sued for paternity and sole custody.
What?
Yeah, he is the dad. Yeah,
Which, I mean, I questioned first
They brought
with the
Maury
normal
Povich
name.
in to find out if he was the dad. Did
Yeah.
you know that?
No, I did not.
No, they didn't do that.
I was going to say, you're not.
You are the. No, that's just wild though. That much money. I mean, it does take a lot of stones to say no to 50. Listen, there's almost nothing. If you told me I'll give you $15 million, $100,000 a month, there's almost nothing I'm going to say. I mean, there's just a handful of things
Right.
I wouldn't do.
Right.
I'm not going to kill my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill my wife. Outside of that,
That's
Rich,
what,
you're dead.
that's what those.
I just want you to know you have to die, Rich.
That's
If
what
it's $15 million and $100,000 a month, I just want you to know you're going to die.
Yeah,
That's
Bundy, you're dead, man.
Yeah. Hey, more power.
And I'll
to
tell
you,
you,
bro.
I'll tell you before
Yeah.
I kill you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but this is
And
why.
I'll- yeah.
And you'll be like, "Oh, I get it."
I get it,
that's-
man.
No, go ahead and take me out.
That's a kitten killing money.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
what the old timers call it.
Kitten killing. man.
Yeah, I'd kill a kitten for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So I wanted to, because of this, I thought, well, it would be fun to write a little parody song as Elon Musk, and so I did. And I don't know, it's probably offensive on every possible
Dude,
level.
it was epic. I don't
No
care what
radio
anybody
edit.
says. Look,
Nobody else.
it's our show. We do it how we want.
Yeah.
This is an epic song.
Trust me,
Hit that shit.
nobody else will be playing this. They'll want to play it, but they ain't got it. So
Enjoy.
here you go.
Elon in the cut, a.k.a. Musk, a.k.a. Musk. A.k.a. Muskie E.
Shit, bruh, I can't even choose cyber and gold or cyber and blue. Shout out Chucky Schumer. Hey, bro, fuck you and your antique bloomers while you dodging tumors.
Fucking ruthless.
I'm an astronaut swag, I'm the fuck in my bag. I can go to space just cause my girl on the rag.
Shark free.
So don't cap like Emus, don't get buckets. You don't like the DOGE, send you 2 dozen fuckets. The left used to call me hero. Mass-produced cars, gas use 0. Now Tesla's getting grilled like Trump steaks. Oh shit, I said Trump, that's a news break.
Top story.
Hey America, remember me? Yeah, it's your boy Muskie E. Tesla, the boring company. Neuralink and SpaceX. All the women I got pregnant with creepy sex. Hell yeah, I'm a fiend. If you're counting kids, I got 13. And if that isn't enough on my motherfucking plate, now I'm in charge of eliminating government waste. Yeah, I'm rolling with the DJT. Oh yeah, people hating on me. Wanna put me in the hot seat, but how you gonna label me a Nazi? I like free speech. Ask me if I give 2 shits, because motherfucker, I'm the real Richie Rich. 350 B's in my bank, check that. I'm footing Skechers and rocking a MAGA hat. Did I say that? You hate that's on my head? Newsflash, I wear that motherfucker to bed. Let me leave you something like my ex Amber Heard for Nancy Pelosi. I leave this turd. It's a bold choke. Top story. Hey America, remember me? Yeah, it's your boy Muskie E. Tesla, the boring company. Neuralink and SpaceX. All the women I got pregnant with creepy sex. Hell yeah, I'm a fiend. If you're counting kids, I got 13. And if that wasn't enough on top of my plate, now I'm in charge of eliminating government waste. Hop Hop in the self-driving Tesla Plaid, 1.9 to 60, yeah, I'm fucking bad. Shit, smoking fatties at the charging pad, puff puff, passing to my fam Joe Rogan. If one joint ain't enough, well shit, we'll just go again. The haters are little babies. I parked them all in the playpen, and now it's okay. You could say when. Have you had enough? Can I get an amen? Hey America, remember me? Yeah, it's your boy Muskie E. Tesla, the boring company, Neuralink and SpaceX. All the women I got pregnant with creepy sex. Hell yeah, I'm a fiend. If you're counting kids, I got 13. And if that wasn't enough on top of my plate, now I'm in charge of eliminating government waste. The real plug, baby. Plug it in. Get charged. Go to space. I won the race. Elon cut. AKA Musk. AKA Muskie. Muskie. Elon in the cut. AKA Musk. AKA Muskie.
All right, so there it is, the most offensive song I've ever made. So, hope you enjoyed it.
Natasha sent some laughing faces to it.
Did she?
Said this song, so I think she enjoyed it.
No, it's funny. Look, it's meant to be funny. It's meant to be stupid, and that's what it was. So, but we're back, and man, excited to have this guest in because it's the Wolf, baby. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm prepared to handle all of your XFL gym queries too.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've gotta get lots of them.
Well, let's get some introductions first. You know, a lot of people know you from Oakland as the Wolf, but tell them who you are and what you're about, man.
Yeah, my name's Chase Sessoms. I grew up here, North Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm big into horse racing. I host a horse racing podcast for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network called the Notorious OTB, which I think I can claim is the only like hip hop centric horse racing podcast out there.
That's dope. I love it.
Yeah, got a great co-host, Barry Spears. We're 5 days a week. We do picks and pretty high level handicapping, but it's also pretty approachable. And so been doing it a while. It's a show I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I know that a lot of people pay attention to what you do, and that's got to be. Man, sometimes it's got to be hard to keep your feet on the ground if you're good at what you do, and people are like, bro, you're helping me win money. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like to say, because I've gotten DMs from like people in like Australia and other parts of the country, so I like to say that the sun never sets on my empire of doing people a solid.
That's awesome. That's a great statement right there. So, first of all, let's talk about how did you even get involved in horse racing to begin with? How did you find a passion for it or for the numbers behind it? How?
Well, so my mom wanted to go to Oakland for her 60th birthday. So I actually got into this not that long ago compared to a lot of like the other people who do what I do. And I knew that if I was just throwing money through the window for no rhyme or reason, it was going to drive me absolutely nuts because
Right?
I'm super ADHD. I love puzzles. I need that stimuli.
Yeah.
And so I just did like a crash course in like 2 weeks, and I ended up making like $2,000 in the first
Wow.
couple weeks. And
Yeah, that'd motivate me.
yeah, I was pretty well hooked at that point. And from there, I just kind of kept growing as a handicapper, and then the content kind of crept in with a couple of friends from Discord who still do stuff. They're called On the Wrong Lead. They're great if you ever want to check them out. And then, from there progressed into doing stuff with actual bigger horse racing outlets and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, at what moment did you know, hey, this is it? This is what I'm doing now. This is all I'm doing now. This is my gig.
So I got laid off from with COVID. Like I worked for a distributor here around town. I was an analyst, so I didn't, sell cases or move boxes or anything. So I was pretty well out, and I had my severance, and I ended up hitting a pick six ticket at Belmont that paid like 16, 17 grand, and my wife was
Hell
like,
yeah.
maybe you just do this now.
No, I would have said that too.
That's what I'm talking
No, I would tell my wife if she could hit 16, 17 grand on a pick six, I'd be like, honey, don't
keep
do
doing
this.
that,
Keep
right?
doing this, yeah. So you were into math already. You were an analyst, so you were doing mathematical work to begin. So you were big with numbers for a long time.
Yeah, I was like the spreadsheet guy at work
Yeah.
that everyone would come and like fix their formulas and stuff. So yeah,
Is a circular logic formula? Yeah, that's what I'd always get. It's circular. I can't find it.
you have to do the whole tracing. From
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
No, I always had kind of that analytical brain. I can't say that I was always mathematical because I was terrible at math in high school. It was like something that like when I got older and went back to school, it was like, oh, this is simple now.
It is weird how that happened because math was my Achilles heel in school. Matter of fact, the only class I ever failed, the first time I took algebra, I failed it. Now, part of that was my girlfriend sat behind me and I looked at her more than the board. But the second time I did well. But math was never what I would have called my stronger suit. But once I got into business, all of a sudden math became a stronger suit for me.
Right.
So it can develop like that.
And I mean, I do gambling math every day, all day, pretty
Yeah.
much,
So, to be a handicapper and to be successful, what win percentage do you need to have? I would think over 50, but I don't know. What do you need to be successful as a handicapper?
An excellent strike rate would be around 30 to 33%.
Really?
Yeah, because
That's great. Okay.
it's a little different from sports betting in the sense that you're going to get a lot more value, a lot more return on investment with horse bets a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
Versus like a minus 150, bet 150 to get 100 back. I have bet $6 and gotten a payout with a comma in it. So
Right.
there's a
That's
lot more,
nice.
There's a lot more opportunity there. 30% strike rate, like you have to be prepared to sustain a lot of like cold streaks and stuff, but you just have to know that your opinions are good and that you're going to have a good opinion again tomorrow.
Right.
So you don't have to chase the losses that you just had. Or
Right, because if you told me that that I was getting 65% wrong or 60% wrong, I'd be like, man, do I suck? But based on what you're saying, I can see what you mean because you're right. The payoffs are exponentially greater because of the odds.
Yep.
So that's what plays into it. Now, I note that a couple of things that are really big now. Parlays have grown exponentially. People seem to love to do parlays now.
Yeah, Jim is notorious for getting into those parlays that are like a CVS ticket.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a big parlay guy. Like I prefer playing like a round robin because like when I'm right, I want to get paid for being right. I don't want to, just be right on like 8 things once. Like let me get something for everything that I do right. And I think these parlays are a little bit of like a trick by the books to get you to spend a lot of money on some big ridiculous tickets that aren't going to hit.
Right. You think they kind of have sold the sizzle over the steak.
Absolutely. 100%.
Interesting. That's interesting because you say, hey, look, if I just individually bet these, chances are I'll come out as good or better.
Right. Because, you're doing like player props and stuff where usually like, it's a yes or no option where, yeah, you're getting less than even money back, but for sportsbook odds, it's, pretty fair. But yeah, I try to stay away from them. I try to play my round robins.
Now, in Oaklawn, in horse racing, I should say, not Oaklawn, but in horse racing, do they have prop bets as well?
Not really, no.
I didn't think so.
I know that I think it's FanDuel, FanDuel Sportsbook that opened at Monmouth in New Jersey. For a little while, they were offering, I called them cross-species props, where it was like, this horse will win in the second race, and this person will hit a home run.
Okay, I got you. I see like a combining 2 different things. So you can't bet on which horse will drop the biggest dump on the field. No, none of that.
Which one will run
what
backwards.
color the jockey's going to wear.
That did give me an idea to get like a pencil and a little book to just be like, take that side action, on the
Right,
yeah,
it'd be good.
I would take it all
good
day.
side action. He loves prop bets. Bundy, as someone who does love betting, I know you probably got some questions because you like the track, right?
Oh yeah, man.
Let me let someone more educated in
Yeah,
gambling
no
ask some questions.
worries.
Ask him.
Man, one of my most interesting questions is what's your superstition at the track? Something that you don't really take into account any of the stats or anything, but just a superstitious thing you do. Mine off the bat is 5th horse in the 5th race. Every time I go, it's 5th horse in the 5th race.
Any variation on my kids' names?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
always,
that's an
always
easy
a
one.
win bet. No 50s. Whenever
Yeah.
I get my payouts back, 50s are bad luck. I always.
What does that mean? 50, like a $50 bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every time they offer me 50, I'm like, no.
No, I
Take
don't
that
want
back.
that.
Okay. Okay. You just don't like Grant?
I mean, he had his merits, but overall, I think he was a pretty ineffectual president.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, and then also like I ride the hot hand, not with like a jockey or a trainer, but with like the old lady I go and place my bet with at the
Yes.
window.
Okay. Is it Miss Felicia?
There was one lady that I don't know her name. I've probably tipped her about $200 over the years, and like just because every time I go to her, it's just like a massive like payout, and she's my.
Same. That's another one of my favorite things to be superstitious about. Which last time I went was my first time. I said, I'm not going to go to a teller. I'm going to do it all in the Oaklawn bet because the infield was open. I didn't want to leave the infield. But yeah, I have a specific lady I go to. She's about 70 something. Been in Oaklawn for like 20 years, and yeah, I feel like I have better luck when I use Miss Felicia. And she's been there forever.
And they're
so
all
funny.
so proud of you when you.
Oh
cast,
yeah,
too.
dude.
Like,
No, the
"Way to
moral,
go, baby."
the moral support from the teller. Like I live for that.
That's great. It's like Grandma getting a peppermint out of her purse.
yeah.
That's no, nothing ever felt better than Grandma telling you how good you were.
So I know with like a lot of handicappers, and I used to kind of try and dabble in it myself a bit, and I was really into. I always wanted to try and hit the superfectas. That was my thing, the exotic bets. Now I know a lot of handicappers use like the DRF and the numbers and the buyer speed guide. Is that also kind of where you gather your information to handicap from, or what's your process when you're looking to handicap a race?
So I'm like very ritualistic. Like I have to go through, look at all the speed figures, throw out the ones that are going to be run on a track condition that's different than what it's going to be for that day. I throw out the trips where they had trouble, where they were in traffic, so I can get like a true number that I consider like an ability figure. Once I figure that out and figure out who's like as fast or faster as the average of the field, like that's who I know is in it, and then I can start projecting pace. That's the big thing for me is like I have a file where I just take like saddle claws and drag them and say, okay, this one's going to be on the lead, this one's going to be 2 links off, because it helps me like visualize it and everything.
Wow,
So
that's interesting. So you're taking what they have as the baseline number of all the races, everything they've done,
Yep.
and you're pulling out the outliers to get a truer baseline and using that as your guiding post.
Yep.
That's a pretty smart formula if you can extract the right ones out. And that's been effective for you, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a just career day. Like y'all are catching me off of like my best day ever last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna do this card. Someone, guys, if you're listening out there, the easiest way to get me to do things for you for free is to say nice things about me or to send me free things. So, someone called me.
Noted.
I know that's right.
Noted.
This
Yeah.
is the Wolf of Wall Street. He's the greatest guy that ever.
No, I'm taking a page out of that right away.
But somebody called me the GOAT, and I told them that there's but one true GOAT, and his name is Darren McFadden. And
Hey, let's go.
Hey,
Dude.
but-
Let's go. I like this guy more and more.
I put a sheet together for him. It was 7 out of 12, like straight up winners, of couple of like
Really?
couple of exactas, a couple of pick threes, a couple daily doubles, and in a group of 5, they left up $4,500.
Wow.
Hell yeah, dude.
You
Awesome.
were 7 out of how many? 12?
12.
Yeah, no, that's stout. I mean, that's 65%, right? Something like that. It's a stupid number to be able to get.
Right.
That's amazing. So, how long have you been doing it now? What'd you say, 4 or 5 years?
About a decade, about 10 years.
Oh, a decade now. Okay, wow. So your show comes on every day. And how do people, where do they see it at?
Yeah, you can listen to the audio version wherever you get your podcast, and then we are on YouTube as well. It's the Notorious OTB. Just search the Notorious OTB. You'll find us.
And you have a co-host that rocks with you and some other guests that come in periodically, I guess.
Patrick, I have the best co-host. His name is Barry Spears.
Yeah.
The sniper. And he's somebody who's been doing it like. His parents took him to his first daily racing form, like handicapping seminar when he was like 8 years old at Saratoga.
wow.
He played pro basketball in like Europe for a little bit and stuff.
That's
But,
dope.
Yeah, he's like a brother to me. I love him dearly, and I'm glad to have him as a co-host.
That's awesome, man. It's great to have that kind of chemistry and that kind of relationship.
So I was just wondering if I can ask.
Oh, you got, please do.
Because while you're talking about, of course, Oaklawn that you handicap for, you were mentioning other tracks and things. So, like for me, I wanted to ask you: is there a favorite track that you enjoy handicapping for more than the other, and two, like what's the biggest difference for Oaklawn versus the Aqueduct in New York or whatever? Like, what makes tracks different besides just the horses?
Sure. So first thing I would say probably my favorite track has to be Saratoga in New York. Like that summer meet, and usually it's because like my handicapping seems to be like clicking the most whenever I hit that time of year, and that's the one that I actually probably like playing a little bit better than Oaklawn, but it's not like associated with my brand. So, but with like the difference in the tracks, it can be everything from like the depth of the dirt, the like you said, the caliber of horses that they bring in. I'm big into track bias, which means like a track will favor a certain type of runner and everything.
I was going to ask, do you prefer the grass? Because isn't Belmont a turf?
Well, you have turf and dirt, and usually your payouts are better because the fields are bigger. The finishes are a little bit wild. I find that I'm a lot better with dirt, but I still really love turf racing.
That's really, really interesting. All the different things that when I've gone to Oaklawn, I never, ever think about.
Yeah.
I look
There's so much to it. There's
Yeah,
so much you can get into.
I look at the odds. I kind of look at the jockey. I look at what the horse history was. Then I just go with an instinct. But you're really breaking the science down when you're talking about the depth of the dirt, the type of track, the length of the race, the speed on average of the horse. So, you're looking at all those things. So in your data set, you have to have, I guess this information is built into your cake, so to speak. When you go to handicap a certain track, it pulls up those parameters you put in.
Yeah, like I mentioned doing like the pace layouts where I'll put where every horse should be and everything. Like the way that works and like kind of taking it into like 3D chess is I can now like look at it and visualize how the race is going to be run and who's going to be on a good part of the track versus who's going to be stuck on a bad part of the track or anything like that. So it's you're taking that stuff, but like you really need a little bit of creativity. Sometimes you have to just kind of I don't know, dream big.
Kind of trust your instinct. Trust your.
And is there a way when you're doing, because a lot of times, like when I used to do the handicapping that I did, I was pretty good at kind of figuring out who would be in the top 3 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But of course, when I'm thinking as a bettor, I want to get the biggest return, which are the long shots.
Right.
Is there a way when you're looking through those numbers that you can kind of see what long shots have a chance at sticking out?
So this is something that Barry and I speak about a lot, and we call it the anatomy of a long shot. You have things like nondescript connections, which you have to kind of be in it a little bit to understand like what names for like owners are big and everything. So you see these like nondescript connections. I like horses that are coming off of I call them trouble trips, like they bumped at the break, they had to shuffle, they had to check. Those are the horses that kind of really like fly under the radar. And now with the computer assisted wagering, like it loves chalk. So we'll just throw money at the chalk and you'll get these horses that like don't necessarily have the fastest speed figures, but if you look at them, they're trending up except for that trouble, and the prices will just kind of float up.
So let me ask you this, because this is something I take into account, and I'm interested if you do too, is when you're taking all that information in to decide, how much do you factor in the consistency of jockeys?
Especially when there's a bias, a lot, because that tells me who has it figured out.
Right.
Who's jiving with what the track's doing and who can what they because you'll see people who just get onto like tears and they'll win like 4 races in a day. It's like
exactly. That's the biggest thing, and a lot of people don't know that.
There was an Oaklawn jockey. He retired. He was one of the winningest jockeys of all time. What was
Santana?
Pat Day. Pat Day. Man, he used to kill it out there regularly. But so, do you find that that different jockeys excel in different environments, just like the horses?
A little bit, because they're human just like us. They do certain things better than they do other things. And so, like, I know that when I have Luis Saez on a horse, great jockey, if you're not familiar, I know that he's going to ride aggressively and he's going to put my horse out towards the front.
Okay.
I know if I have Joel Rosario that he's a fucking showboat, and he's going to go ahead and take it all the way to the back and try to
Right,
come
right.
all the way
Try to
from
make
the
a show of
clouds.
Oh, he
Yeah.
wants to make a show of it. Yeah.
And you know when he's on because he comes off of the turn and he does what I call the 2 cheeky whip twirls, where he'll just kind of like twirl him around and then give the horse the
Yeah.
whip. It's like, oh, he's got something
He's
here.
got, his style points are going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, now let me ask some more, difficult questions here. So, have you ever had a bettor come back to you and go, man, I just won X amount of dollars? What's as far as feedback goes, what's the biggest win somebody's gotten from using your prediction that you know of?
Like cumulatively, it might have been that last weekend with like the 4,500. Like individually, there was a gelding named No Balls that
Classic.
won the Churchill Downs Sprint on Kentucky Derby Day a few years ago, and I called that one out on the Sports Gambling Podcast at like 43-1 with the 500-1 exact underneath it. And I got a message from someone in Australia who had made several $1,000s. He didn't give me an amount, but he was like, it definitely had
Very excited about it.
it definitely had a comment, and it definitely
Okay.
had 4 to more figures.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Being the guy, I mean, obviously, I know that if you're in the drug game, you don't get high on your own supply. But if you're in the prediction game, you probably do make some wagers here and there, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
If I can ask, what's the best you've ever done on one single one?
On one single bet, it was that pick 6 ticket at Belmont for $16K. Like I've hit for, a couple $1,000s before, and, a couple times. And
Yeah.
I'm really more of like I don't play those big, like they call them horizontal sequences from races to race. I'm more of like, take what I feel like is a good opinion in like an exacta and just like slam that exacta.
So what I hear you saying is blue chip. I'm going to go with the consistent wins that pay a good amount. I'm not trying to go for the highest. I'm not trying to go for the lowest. I'm going for consistent good payouts.
Yeah. Barry, this is another thing Barry and I talk about is like sometimes you have to concede payouts. Like, that if this horse wins, like it's not going to pay very well. So like you concede that if that horse beats you, you lose because you're hunting the higher payout option. But yeah, that's something that we really talk about like the mentality a lot of like the handicapper, which I mean, we in 10 minutes we pack, we say 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, we pack a lot in, and definitely in like our Thursday big show, we do a lot of that where it's like, it's so much of it is self-confidence and just being able to
trust in your instinct. Once you put in the work and you've done the research, and you're still getting hung up, you got to say, no, dude, I know what I'm,
No, I mean, it's just like if you're in the NBA and you're a shooter and you've gone,
you
1
gotta
of
trust
13, you still got to know I'm still that shooter, and the next 13 are going to hit, And so the law of averages, there's mathematics is unbeaten, regardless of what anybody will tell you in this new world, Common Core or not, mathematics is unbeaten every time. And so if you have a law of averages, it is going to hold up because it is the law of averages. That's just the way it works, correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So once you find the vein, it's going to give you a baseline of success, and then you build incrementally from there, I would guess.
Yeah, there's so many people, like I'll be on like the horse racing subreddit or I'm like a horse racing Discord, and so it seems like every week someone pops in and it's like, hey, I'm creating an AI to help pick winners for like, what do I need to know? And it's like, here's the deal, is like there's no magic one variable for any race. Like there are a million variables for every race, and you just have to find the one that you can put your hat on.
Again, AI is great if you have all data points to put in it. It can really, predict or do things like that. But when you're talking about just listening to you, when you're talking about horse racing, for example, there's so many factors that AI wouldn't know.
Right.
It wouldn't know about the bump off, or it wouldn't know about the depth of the dirt, or it wouldn't know about some of these things that are very human, whether a guy's a showboat or not a showboat. It can only take data and extrapolate. That's all it can do.
Well, and there's so much stuff that comes down to the week of the races or the day of the races that
Right,
AI
that
hasn't
AI
had
can't
time
know.
to intake.
No,
them.
AI doesn't have an in with the person on the track. You
Right.
can tell him this guy's been, got a stomach ache today, and he's barely going to ride, but he's going to ride.
AI doesn't see that the horse is acting up behind the gate and
exactly.
sweating like a whore in church. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I know, and we were talking about that earlier, Bundy, outside, that, horse racing is almost like the purest form of gambling that there is.
Why is that?
But, well,
I
that's
feel
a
like-
great question
feel
right
like
there. I
because
mean,
what we just spoke on, there's so many variables. You can argue that the NBA is rigged or the NFL is rigged.
It's hard to
There's
argue
so
horse
many
racing
different
is.
hands on that horse. If you just look right off the bat, it's got an owner, a trainer, and a jockey that's going to ride it.
Right.
That's three people who have vested interest in this horse doing well, but almost from different angles. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yes.
You would really have to pull something together. And if you've been at Oakland and you're familiar with their process, people will claim, oh, he pulled back on that horse, or this race was rigged, I think. And if they think anything is off about that horse, immediately after the race, you see that horse go through a special little gate, and they're about to run test on that horse and
Right.
run everything. And so I actually like it because there is, I feel like, less wiggle room for bullshit.
For
You know what I mean?
dishonesty,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's so many variables that would have to go exactly right for somebody to quote unquote rig a race.
And I think the real element of purity comes from the fact that it's a pari-mutuel betting sport. Like, we're not betting against the house. Like, I'm betting against you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for me, that stokes the competitive flame of I'm leaving with
100%.
your money in my pocket.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I'm
Right.
making sure your kids don't even go to the University of Phoenix on
Yeah, screw your kid, man. He's a dumbass now.
But I think there's something pure about it, wagering between people as opposed to
100%.
betting against a house, taking their odds, and then taking their cut. It
Right,
makes it
right.
play like playing the stock market almost.
No, there is a lot more depth to it, and I do think that it would be much harder to, in a crowd of that many horses with that many owners, that many trainers, that many things. Am I going to tell you that nothing's ever happened? No, of course. I mean,
Right,
anybody
sure.
would be foolish to say such a thing, but I think it would have to be much harder to accomplish that because. It's not like these people are all hanging out together all the time necessarily.
No.
But to your point, it's pari-mutuel, which is interesting because you don't think about that as often as, you're going against the house or whatever, like in boxing. It's me versus the house, not me versus every other bettor.
Yeah, I'm not going against the Caesars Sportsbook
Right.
algorithm or anything. It's me and you, and we're all of our money's together, and we'll see where it goes at the end.
Yeah.
And is there not just a certain romance about Oakland Hot Springs? I mean, just something started by there was more gangsters than cops, and they said, no, we're gonna bet here. We would like to gamble here, please. There was no gambling anywhere in the state until. I mean, what,
Till
10 years
Capone
ago?
and them came in,
Right, yeah. It was those,
said, yeah, we're
it was
gonna do
those
that.
type of guys, just an environment built out of, no, we're going to do what we want. And
Kind of along the lines of the Vegas,
sure.
in a manner of speaking, a small version of it. So, obviously doing what you do, you probably met lots of different people along the route, probably come in contact with lots of folks. At one point, I got to be sure that you met someone in this 10 years and you're standing there talking to him, and inside your head, you're like, shit, is this really happening? Who was it?
It was shout out to my friend Ken Rudolph. It was Ken Rudolph from TVG. Just through Twitter and stuff, I had got tweeted back and forth with Ken and other the TVG personalities, and I got to go to the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar in
Hell yeah.
2021, and they had me doing just wacky man on the street kind of interview stuff where I played a game called was it Horse or Clown, where I give you the name, you tell me if this is a clown or if this is a horse.
Oh, okay.
And I was so nervous. I was deep into the edibles and had to have a sip of sipping bourbon, and then I finally was like, all right, I have the courage. I'm gonna go. Just I think I have a relationship with Ken. I'm just gonna blitz him and try to. And he was so nice and so supportive. He's like, you're doing a great job. Keep doing it. I haven't met as many people in person as I've have over the podcast and stuff.
Right.
I would say maybe Maggie Wolfendale, who is on like the Fox Sports broadcast of America's Day at the Races. Like she was on, and she was really good. She braved a hurricane where she was to call in and do the
It's
show.
pretty cool, though. It sounds like that you love what you do and you're passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm all in at this point. I know it might be, a lot of horse players say that like we won't be doing this in 10 years. So I know I'm kind of maybe doing like deck chairs on the Titanic a little bit.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Why
fun.
wouldn't you be doing it in 10 years?
You see a lot of tracks closing. You see,
Okay.
there's really a shift in the public's mentality about horse racing.
Really?
You saw it happen with dog racing.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of.
Yeah, I saw it happen with the circus, but I mean, these horses are pretty amazingly cared for, aren't they? I mean, is that not?
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
They probably
Yeah, but
have.
they are
when,
pampered.
when the interest from the public is dying down, I mean,
Right. No, I
as
get
people
it.
are attending races.
Right. No, I get it. I get it.
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
in the 1930s, people had way more of a like appetite to see a little man whip a horse down the stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
Right. It's an old form of entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, we lived in a more like agrarian society where like
Right.
horses weren't necessarily viewed as like pets; they were
Right.
tools to
Yeah.
work.
Now everything
Now
is.
you have all the people,
Yeah.
oh, they're hurting them.
Yeah. No, pet the cockroaches. We gotta love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my friend Crystal Conning, she was the paddock analyst at Oaklawn last year. She's been riding horses up at parks, and now I think she's doing like exercise riding at Gulfstream. But she got suspended for I can't remember how many days and got fined for using the whip like one too many times. She was like, I got suspended because I couldn't count to 6.
Oh wow, that's wild, man. That is wild.
Now, like as far as your picks go and everything
Mm-hmm.
for the races, is the only way to get them from listening to each episode of the podcast, or do you send out like a cheat sheet,
You got
an
a
email,
silent
something?
Sam pamphlet.
No, so how I got started and actually how I got like the nickname the Wolf of Oaklawn, like that I did not come up with that. That was like just kind of like given to me. I started doing like actual like tip sheets that like I sold and everything.
Yeah.
And when I moved to doing the podcast, like for one, your reputation takes a little bit of a hit anytime you sell picks, because like the assumption is like you can't win. That's why you're having to sell your picks. To,
Right.
That's the general consensus. Yeah.
Whereas like for me, it was more of like I put a whole lot of sweat equity in this, and people are going to hit me up for picks no matter what I do.
Right.
Yeah. So I may as well make money. Yeah.
Right. And so I did that for Jimmy's race report. Jimmy was the guy who's like insisted you couldn't go by your own name. So he's like, here, you're the Wolf of Oaklawn. And I hated it. And, but I kind of like got into it, but did it tip sheets through a few companies and everything. And now like everything's free. Like if you just watch the show, if you just listen, you can even fast forward to the end where we've got a graphic that shows like all of our picks. Like we're just here to help you.
Let me we're going to do something odd here,
That is
and
awesome.
you guys don't even know this, but here's the thing. I have an inspection in about 16 minutes that I need to be at. All right.
all right.
That's okay. It's all right. However, you guys both have really extensive knowledge of horse racing, and we have such an awesome guest that I feel like y'all can carry on and continue this. I'm going to move on and let y'all do your thing and keep talking, and y'all can wrap the show up whenever you're done.
Okay.
Does that sound pretty fair?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But before you go, I want
Yeah.
to answer your most burning XFL Gym question.
Is he insane?
When you meet Jim, I think it's a combination of his gigantic puppy dog eyes and and like this just energy. He could 100% be a cult leader.
Yeah.
100%.
I believe that actually. He seems like he's really fun. He's wild, but he seems like he sells well.
I don't think he's insane, but I also don't think that anything that he's doing is extremely calculated by any means.
Right.
He's just got this crazy energy that makes you want to do whatever he's doing, and like the man has never told a joke in his life. Like he's never said, okay, this is a joke with a punchline. Like
Right.
Jim has just been Jim. And
He's just Jim, yeah. No, I love Aaron XFL Jim. I find him awkwardly, amazingly humorous, and I like people who are fearless. and I'll give him that kudos of being fearless. Or at least he appears to be fearless. I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not doing those things. I mean,
hey, we did one day.
Well, we did, but you know what I'm saying. So I have an abundance of respect for his commitment to his character, his Jimiverse.
Yeah, there was severe ontological shock when I realized that I merely exist in one timeline in the Gymverse.
Right. Yeah. It's like I'm not sure if I'm even real.
So one more time, what's the name of the channel again that we can find on? They were asking in comments.
The Notorious OTB.
The Notorious OTB.
Guys, I love you. You know that. I'm going to leave this in the capable hands of Rich Bundy and the Wolf here.
Cool.
And y'all have a great time, and I'll
About
see
to
you
be
back tomorrow.
unsupervised.
Sweet. Yeah, I know, man. We might get in trouble.
Scary, isn't it?
Might get in
Have a
trouble.
good one, bro.
Hey, man, I want you to come back.
Okay, thank
For
you.
sure. Let's make this a regular.
Sounds fantastic.
If you have time in your life. All right.
Have a good one, man. So now it's back to now you're really in trouble, man. He left us with the show. He left us with a guest.
With
You
the
don't know what
wolves.
you just got yourself into.
Right. Dude, I want to touch back on Ken Rudolph. I'm familiar with him, just paying attention to horse racing. I bet that was a super cool moment. He's not just like a broadcaster. He gives a lot of betting insights, and my favorite content that I've watched is like the backstories he'll do on the jockeys or the horses. And there's not just a whole lot of black folks in the horse racing like broadcasting community, and he's been there for a minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I bet that was a pretty cool moment being into it and getting to meet somebody that has a big name in the space.
And like we were able to do like the VIP thing through like ABR and like our press passes and everything. And so like I got to meet like some of the other TVG guys, and like there was one that like I was so ready to hate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been swearing. I don't know how much swearing.
You're good.
I have
You're
been
good.
like, fuck that guy. I don't like it. I don't like when he picks the same horse as me. And
Right.
then I met him, and he was the loveliest, sweetest person I've ever met. But yeah, so there, you see people who are like in that A&E or Bravo showed horse players and stuff, and it's weird because it's so niche to have like that sort of like a fanboy experience for somebody.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if I walk to someone in the grocery store, it's like I met Ken Rudolph. They'd be like,
Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, that's why I wanted to touch on it again because I knew the name and I was like, I appreciate that. I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Is the season still going on at
Yeah, it'll go
Oakland
to
right
like
now for
first or second week of May.
Now this is this later part of the season because I mean most of the known horses are already, from what I remember, already on their way up to like Kentucky and stuff.
yeah,
right?
the 3-year-olds that are on the Derby Trail that have been racing in the Oaklawn prep races for the Kentucky
Yeah.
Derby, like those have already like they're being stabled at Keeneland or Churchill Downs, and they've got their Derby points. Kudos to Oaklawn though, because they put out for basically like the 2 dead weeks in between the last Kentucky
Right.
Derby prep and the Derby. They put out a banger card
Yeah.
for Saturday with
Yeah?
the Oaklawn handicap.
yeah.
That's what I was just about to ask. I was going to say, do you find it, easier or more difficult to handicap the later part of the season for Oaklawn? Because, again, like we just said, those higher quality horses are already on their way to the other tracks.
I find that the later part of the season is actually a lot easier, I think. And I think it's because you have horses shipping in from so many different
Right.
tracks and circuits all coming to Arkansas that it's hard to, kind of levelize the information that you're getting.
Right. Hard to take it all in and get it out in a
Yeah. And
manageable
Yeah.
information that you can intake.
by this time of year, they've been here, they've run over the surface
Right.
3-4 times and everything. And so you more have a little bit, kind of a face value understanding of what these horses are.
Right. Yeah, in Arkansas, it was an Arkansas horse that won the Derby, the Kentucky Derby last year, I believe. Yeah.
Mystic Dan.
Mystic Dan, that's it. I couldn't think of it.
One of the owners was a tip sheet customer of mine.
Nice.
Really? Wow,
Nice.
okay.
Hell yeah. What about
I think there's still like
3 or 4 weeks till the Kentucky Derby? You got any picks for the Derby yet?
I'm
I don't know because I didn't pay attention to the Oaklawn races. I don't think there's any Arkansas horses in there yet.
no like Arkansas bred, but you'll have like Sandman who won the Arkansas Derby, Cole Battle he didn't win like any like the big preps, but he won like 3 of the small ones in a row. So He's a real fun story. He's trained by an old guy named Lonnie Briley, who's probably in his 70s. The stud fee for this horse was $2,500.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good story. It's got like Mind That Bird kind of a feel for it.
Right.
Which, if you want to feel just like goosebumps out there, just like go to YouTube and look up Mind That Bird. Kentucky Derby.
So now, what about for like the new in for perfect example, Latasha just commented she needs to start horse betting. She has some money and needs to make some money out of more money. So for the newcomer to the sport that may want to try betting, of course, check out the podcast for sure.
Absolutely.
But then where would you start? If you want to kind of start handicapping on your own and picking out, where would be a good starting point at?
What I always tell people is the starting point, like the crawling before the walking, is going to be learn how to read the daily racing form.
Yeah.
It's got its own set of like symbols. It looks like hieroglyphics. It looks like a stock report. It looks like
familiarize yourself with that as best you can.
Because there are a whole lot of like little bitty things that like I still don't know what everything in the racing form means.
Same.
And then there's a book that I recommend that everyone read kind of along with it, and it's Picking Winners by Andrew Byer, who is of course
The buyer speed.
Speed figure guy.
Right.
and it's the most like detailed like how to decipher the racing form. It goes a little bit into like some like elementary angles and stuff, and talks about like the speed handicapping and things like that. So I feel like that's like a great like base level to really kind of jump off. And I say like watch a whole bunch of races, watch as many races as possible, because once you visually understand how races are run is when you can actually start like.
That's the starting point,
That's
really.
the kind of understanding how they set up the pack of all the gotcha.
Man,
gotcha.
we sit here and say that, but I know if I know one's my wife, and I know you've got to know a couple people that they don't know the first thing, and they said that's a cute name. I like.
Oh
that.
yeah, I mean, hey, I was.
And they kill it. Man.
When I first started, I haven't done it in a while, but I used to do the same thing, or I always heard, hey, if there's a gray horse, bet on gray. Gray's gonna win every time.
It's because it's a mutant.
Yeah. I always heard gray horse on gray days, gray horse on a rainy day.
Yeah.
My wife, the very first time I took her to Oakland, my parents took me when I was younger, and so I was kind of familiar with it. But as an adult going, I took my wife, and she wanted to do a trifecta box, first bet she's ever made on horse races anyway, and hits that trifecta box for our rent. It was like $3.50 trifecta box, and she was like, "Man, I love this. We should do this more."
Yeah.
Like, don't get you. I don't think she's hit a trifecta box since. That was 10 years ago, but
Well, see, that sounds. I mean, most of like I've like I said, I've always enjoyed the superfectas. I've hit a couple of them, but the most I can ever get out of a superfecta is all the favorites come in, so it's like $12, and I'm like, oh yay,
Right.
But yeah.
There was one day at Churchill Downs. It was a Kentucky Derby day. It was the year that Justify won the Kentucky Derby. And it was, I want to say it was just like absolutely pouring rain, and they were still like running on the turf course, and then like I was getting stumped by being beat by horses, and I kept going back and looking, and I figured out it was like these horses that were carrying more weight and heavier. I put together a superfecta with the heaviest horse on top, used the two next heaviest horses underneath in second and third, and then a few other horses in fourth, and hit I think it was like $900.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
For the 10-cent super.
Yeah, for a $2.40 bet, that's
Yeah, it's the boxes are. I think like there are a lot of like pro handicappers that they see box bets and they're like
Right.
And but here's the deal, like you have to concede a little bit that like people who are new to the sport, the way to keep them coming back is to cash tickets. And you're going to do that way more percent of the time than instead of like taking a stand and making a really structured bet.
Yeah, right.
Like, just let them box and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest part of it. You want to have fun. More than likely, you might lose some money. Yep. So you want to have fun in the meantime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, and that's again, like you said, on the money side of things, like that's one thing that I've always enjoyed about Oaklawn, and I can not of course just betting on horses, but that I can take my kiddo out. He enjoys seeing the horses ride around, and sure. $20 will afford us the whole entire day at Oaklawn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, some of the best days going out there is when you pay for your day.
Right.
Off a trifecta box or something. You're like, oh, man, today was free. It was just a good day at the track. And have you been to Churchill Downs?
I haven't. I've actually been to like a pretty small number of tracks. Like I've done here, Oakland. I've done Remington Park in Oklahoma City because I used to have to work in Oklahoma City a little bit, which is awesome because it's like life after people.
Right.
Like if you go there on a weeknight, like it's like you and Gladys at the window. You get to know a lot about each other. And then I've done Del Mar, which Del Mar is really cool because that was like my first like California trip and like was able to like I felt so like futuristic landing and putting in my dispensary order while I was waiting for
Hey, dude, that's something else. Being a simple country boy from Arkansas, the first time you go to California or New York or a big city like that, you're like, holy shit, man, this is wild.
All right.
This is wild. How much, all the stuff you take into account, how much do you find that it fucks your plans up if it does piss rain?
I spend far too much time. Like I have severe anxiety issues watching the weather and what it's supposed to do, and is it gonna miss? Is it gonna like? And I've also found like if you ask the people that you know that live the closest to the track, they're the least reliable. It's gonna rain or not.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, I've had some of my best days at Oakland on rainy days. Dude, we show up, there's not a lot of people there because it's raining. The track's sloppy. There's
Well, that's
no
usually
mud.
when you start to see a lot of the long shots coming in.
Yeah, I've
things.
had some of the best days on rainy days.
Yeah.
There's a what I think my first ever like really good day was Saratoga in the slop.
Yeah, the slop, dude. It just makes the whole day funner.
Oh yeah. And like every time like I have a good day, it usually has something in common, which is like I've seen something in how the track is playing, and I've caught on to it for everybody else.
Right.
So it's it was one of those days where I can't remember what it was. It was like horses in the middle of the track or something.
Yeah.
I just hammered them and just kept winning.
But that's what, to touch back on what you said, you've got to watch 100 races. You got to familiarize yourself, or else you won't pick up on those little intuitions that's going to win you the bet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know the classes and like the class of the race, the amount of purse, like all that is stuff you have to factor in.
Right.
Is there a favorite type of setup for a race that you just hands down absolutely like as soon as you open the book, you're like, yep, that's my race. It's got the perfect class, the perfect price, the perfect purse, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like way more pace dependent. Like I look at like the class that they keep, their workouts, their speed figures more as like qualifying things. Like these are the things that you have to do to just be considered a winner in my book. And then I'm taking that and I'm looking at the pace setup. Like I'm way more of like a pace handicapper than anything else. Okay. And I'll say like to kind of still answer your question, the situations that I jump at are extreme pace scenarios. You lone early speed is the first one. You have one horse by itself that can set easy slow fractions and just walk the dog around.
Right.
Or you have like all speed and you have one closer.
You're right. That's right. One that pulls away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super interesting, man. I've got to. You make me want to be a better. No, I'll definitely have to pick up on your podcast, dude, because I'm all about that, and it's good that somebody local,
Dakota asked on comments if you ever go down to Louisiana Downs at all and camp down there.
Where's that? Vinton or is it
Shreveport?
Shreveport. Yeah, I don't. I don't make the trip to northern Louisiana very often.
Okay.
About any dog race, I know we talked about that earlier. There's not a whole lot of tracks in the country anymore that are doing it. I think one in West Virginia, there's a casino that does it like 365 days a year. You got any experience with dog tracks? We used to have one here in West Memphis.
Yeah.
That closed down years ago. But.
So my mom's family is from West Memphis. Like we know the dog track.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The last time I've only attempted to play the dogs once, and it was when like my job duties were also in like Memphis and stuff, and I just like fucked off from work for an afternoon. I went to the dog track, and I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. I saw an amazing video on Instagram about a guy who had a whole bunch of like positive tests for cocaine on his racing dogs in West Virginia.
That checks out.
And he's talking. He's like, I've never even been around cocaine. And like, I sent this to my friend, and I said the exact same thing to the person that sent it to me. Was like, that dude's seen cocaine.
I assume if you've got dogs at a dog racetrack that you've got cocaine in your
got
pocket.
something, yeah.
We've all been around cocaine. It's called being an adult.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, you don't have to deny it.
Now you had touched on the dog racing side of things. I know the other side of horse racing is I don't know the technical term for it, but I'm going to say carriage racing or whatever.
Oh, the harness racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you dabble in that at all or mess around with the?
I enjoy watching it. I'll sometimes don't have anything better to do with my hands. DJ bedded at 8 p.m. at night. So I don't pay enough attention to it. Like quarter horses, harness, even European horse racing. If I can't get the information in the daily racing form,
Right.
I just I'm so ritualistic with how
You
I do
just
it.
done-
I'm
yeah,
almost
it's-
lost.
right.
And so I find myself betting on those by what the money that's in the place pool. I think smart money moves through place pools, and so I'll
Right.
put an exacta together with the top place pool
Okay.
money, and then
Okay,
put
I
the
got
next
you.
two underneath, and
Right. That
just
makes sense.
fuck around and hit some stupid
Something
bets.
crazy.
Are you into any other sports betting as much as you are horse betting, or is horse betting your main bag?
Yeah, that's the bread and butter. I do a show with XFL Gym every Saturday morning. That's right now it's called Brunch Bets, but when it's basketball season, it's Gym Rats and
Okay.
college football tailgate. So college sports, I feel like you get these sides are so sharp with professional sports. College sports feels like the last place where you can really kind of find value in sports betting.
For sure. And it's fun, especially, I feel like people are just more invested personally in college sports. They know the kids, where they went to high school, what scholarship deal they got. Excited to see them go to the next level, Yeah, I think that's the...
With XFL Gym, as you had mentioned, I have to ask, and of course, Oaklawn, have you had your eye, or are you kind of paying attention at all to the Hot Springs Wise guys, the new arena football team that's supposed to start?
I'm pumped about that.
I'm gonna check it out. For a little bit, I was doing kind of beat reporting sort of thing for the reboot of the Arena Football League. A good friend of mine, Adam Pelletier, he got the job managing their social media and stuff, and I have a relationship with him through SGPN. So I'm pretty familiar with the arena game. I'll definitely go and check it out. I also really like not going places too.
No, you don't have to be there now. That's 2025. You can bet on stuff
From
all
your
around
phone,
the world.
right in
Yeah,
the comfort
Yep.
of your chair. Well, man, this has been absolutely great. Bundy,
Man, I don't have anything else for you. I appreciate you coming in, though. It's fun to listen to somebody talk about
It is, man.
gambling as much as I like to gamble.
One more time, what name of the channel, where we can find you at for everybody that wants to check you out and hear your picks.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm always there being abrasive. It's @Oaklawn, OF, and then Oaklawn. You can follow the show @Notorious_OTB, and then you can find the Notorious OTB wherever you get your podcast. And we got a YouTube video channel, so subscribe. We're daily. 5
Notorious
weeks,
OTB.
OTB.
Okay.
Yep. Off track betting.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting here. Let me get this cord out of the way, man. Thank you. Thank you for answering all of our questions and letting us pick your brain. And
Yeah, no
man,
doubt.
that was very enlightening.
No doubt. You know how to shut this thing down, Rick?
Yeah, man, I
Shut
do.
down?
So we'll
Okay.
go ahead and wrap it up, man. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure hanging out with you.
Yep.
WrestleMania weekend?
Yeah, WrestleMania weekend. Pumped for that. Anybody interested in the Summit stuff I was talking about earlier, reach out to me via email. We'll be looking to hire some new guys. And Bundy Electric, as always, for electrical stuff. Hit me up.
Absolutely.
You're a wrestling fan?
Yeah, huge wrestling.
Do you know who Summer Rae is?
Yeah.
She was one of my co-hosts on the first
Really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm a ring announcer, so that's what I do in my spare
yeah.
time. Yeah, I ring announce
Yeah,
for a few
Rich
different
is
promotions.
a wrestling guy.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
man.
nice.
Yeah, we'll definitely catch up for sure. So, well, of course, want to thank everybody for joining us all this week. I'll take care of this part for Patrick, since he decided, hey, he's just gonna dip out.
Dude, I don't think we messed anything up, though. We didn't
I don't
break
think so,
anything.
man. We did pretty good
We didn't-
unsupervised,
Yeah,
huh?
we didn't scare the guest off.
All right. Glad you all enjoyed. It's been fun hanging out with you. Don't forget, got Chad tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll have some comedians from the Looney Bin, and of course the Rant with Patrick. So y'all tune in for that tomorrow. Have a great Easter weekend, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Catch
and
you
happy
tomorrow.
Easter. Take care, everybody. Later.